G'day.
That worked well. G'day, Scotty.
It worked. I was just joking around with Matt that it's my first live stream I hosted in the best part of a year, and I'm feeling rusty, but this will be nothing compared to just a quick keep on collecting shout out before we rip into it. This will be nothing compared to the complexity of you guys doing a live toy room tour of Andrew's collection room last weekend. That was this should be a pretty relaxed chit chat by comparison.
I hope so. It was very ambitious. Andrew was knackered. We had gone to Canberra, so it's a good 4 hours there and back, plus a toy hunt, lunch with Si, and then bit of stress around dinner because it just took so long to get food. And then finally I think we wanted a couple of scotch and cokes just to chill into the live stream, and we never got there. And then of course,
mate, look, from the audience side, it was a lot of fun, and if I was able to tune in live, it would have been even better. So anybody who's tuned into this live stream early and is not following Keep On Collecting, make sure you go over and check that out. And I'll give the guys a plug once again at the end. But like I said, a pretty chilled one by comparison this time, but a fun one. This has become a bit of an ongoing tradition for Matt and I. I think this is our 4th year running, where we're a week and a half into 2026, but it's not too late for us to sort of put our bow on 2025. So what we got on the cards for tonight is we're going to have a bit of fun. We're going to talk about our top 5 favorite, toy pickups that we've added to our collections, or not necessarily, not strictly toys, but anything that we've added to our collections that sort of we rank in the top 5 favorite pickups this year, plus some honorable mentions. And then we'll spin the gears forward into 2026. We'll talk about the things that are the sort of top priorities, the top of the wish list for us, the things that we're going to have our eyes peeled for when we do our when we visit the toy fairs. We've got a Melbourne trip that we're tentatively scheduled. So, and not to mention, the Facebook groups and the eBay and all that good stuff, the things that we're going to be looking out for this year. And we've got 16 people that have jumped on early, which is awesome. So we'll say g'day to them before we get into it. But we encourage you guys as we go through and we talk about our favorite things that we've picked up in 2025. We'd love to hear, your most sort of prized pieces that you've added to your collections last year. And likewise, when we look forward to 2026, we want to know what you guys are on the hunt for. I mean, I think the awesome thing about you and I, Matt, and sort of the rest, our other sort of friends and the broader collecting communities, we keep an eye out for each other when we're out and about. It's nice to know what everyone's looking for. You have an extra set of eyes out there. So it's great to know what the guys in the chat are keeping their eyes peeled for as well. So we've got Andrew in the chat. Speaking of Andrew, we were just talking about Andrew's amazing collection room. So g'day, Andrew. Appreciate you jumping on early, mate, and hanging out. We've got Scree in the chat, firing everybody up. Being the hype man in the chat, we appreciate that. We've got Enzo. Mate, you will just have to wait and see. We got Jewel in the chat. G'day, Jewel. Hope you're doing well. Hope you've had a nice weekend.
Yeah.
We've got Dino Dean and Sarah. Hey guys, hope you're doing well. We've got Sean. G'day, Sean. Appreciate you tuning in, mate. Happy New Year to you. Yeah. We've got Nate in the chat. G'day, Nate.
G'day, Nate. Happy New Year.
Plastic Power. G'day, mate.
Plastic Power.
I'm not sure who Plastic Power is. I'm not sure if it's a familiar name in the other sort of forums in which we get Instagram or Facebook.
Sometimes he pops in with ours. So I do know the name. So I don't know his real name, but
well, you're very welcome, Plastic Power. Thanks for tuning in. That brings us up to date. We'll be checking back in with the chat throughout the stream, but we've got a bit to cover. If we have time, Matt, I've also got a couple of quick pickups that I'd like to share because they go with shout outs. But I'm just going to save those to the end. I'll see how we're going for time. I made a lot less videos than I would usually make in 2025. So I've got things that people have sent me, just a couple of different things that I would have loved to have showcased in a video, but I just didn't get around to it. So I'll share those just in the form of sort of shout outs and pickups if we have time, but I'll hang on to them just in case those people drop in at some point in the chat, because I'd love to be able to, thank them while they're here. But I reckon for now, we just sort of get into it. Because we've got a bit to cover.
Yeah,
these usually take the best part of sort of, an hour and a half or a couple of hours. So I reckon we rip into it, mate. So let's talk 2025 first. Who wants to go first? Do you want to go first for this one and I'll go first for the next one, or vice versa? Do you want to?
We can never remember, I'm sure, 12 months later. But Well, I'll go first if you like. Yeah, Do we start with honourable mentions?
Let's go 5, 4, 3, 2 honourable mentions, and we'll bring it home with one, I reckon.
Honourable mentions one. All right, sounds good. All right. Well, I'm going to go from. I think what I did last year was start from the beginning of the year and kind of work my way through until December. So they're in like, I guess, a chronological order that I've done these things. So hard, Scotty. So hard.
It is hard, mate. My order continues to switch, and I think that's why I'm happy you're going first, because mine's still still being settled.
You know what I've noticed from last year is I had things like Bionatops, like there was some big like toys, like play sets, vehicles, and they were quite big. This year it was a little bit more subdued. So the first one I'm going to show, I'll show the packaging first. This came from my beloved Leanne way back my birthday last year, so January last year, and this is from Super 7.
Okay.
Shogun Ultimates, a Godzilla. So this is a slip cover. So this was a birthday present from her, and as you know, I love Godzilla, and I'm struggling to get that off, but there you go. And everyone, I'm sure, is aware of the old Mattel 70s Shogun Godzilla, and he's I think like 24 inches tall. But this one here, that's just the box that it came in, so you can see that backing card is brilliant, and like that's the that will be the figure itself. I'll get that now. But this one is 8 inches tall, and it's basically just a miniature of the 70s version. So here it is here. So that's 8 inches. This is the only one I had a 3 3/4 version, and so it's like now I've got a mummy and a daddy. A baby and a mummy. But yeah, so the original one had that tongue that you push the lever on the back, and it's like that. And then of course, another feature is the hand. So on, of course, the 70s version, you push the button, and I don't know, I'll fire this because I love firing it. But you push the button here, and nothing happens, but it does. There you go. This flies out.
The joy of these things not cooperating when you're trying to show the features or make a video. We know it all too well.
I know. I remember your early videos, and you just firing randomly around the room.
I know. When I wanted to, they wouldn't go, and when I didn't want to, they would fly off. Yeah,
that's right. So that's my number 5. It's as you said, Godzilla. I don't know if I'll ever own the 24-inch version, but that 8-inch version, that's pretty cool. And of course, there's the small. It's like an upgrade. So maybe my next one will be the 24-inch
I reckon, mate. I think knowing how much you love Godzilla and sort of the Godzilla universe, the film universe, the Japanese films, all the other kaiju monsters in that same world, I think it'd be a pretty mad piece for your collection to eventually get like the vintage Shogun, Godzilla. I think it'd be amazing.
It's not in the wish list for this year. There you go. Spoiler alert. However, look, and because it's a fair whack of money, and I don't really feel like I need to get it. I don't know. I do love looking at it in the wild and seeing it in the wild and seeing it on toy hunts. I'll get it one day.
I reckon you will, mate. You and I are patient, in terms of our approach to collecting. You find one at the right price eventually, at the right time when it just seems right to pull the trigger. A few more people in the chat. We got Orally and the Dursey family joined us, which is awesome. So thank you guys so much for popping in and saying g'day.
G'day.
We've got the Minikins guys. Hey boys.
G'day.
Hope you're doing well.
Yeah. Hope you are.
No, appreciate that, mate. Thank you for getting us started with that one. I'm just gonna look. The order's pretty loose this year. Like I said, I'm on a different day, I would probably order these differently, but I'm just going to kick it off. The first one in my top 5 for 2025 is a piece that I picked up from Tony B at Collecticon, probably in the first couple of toy fairs of 2025, and that's the Monster in My Pocket secret 12-pack, still in the box. This was how I've spoke about dozens of times on the channel previously, my love for the Monster in My Pocket minifigure line as a kid. I absolutely loved these when they came out. This is dated 1990. That's when I would have been into Monster in my Pocket. Just such a like I was into, as we've spoken about before, Matt, like all sort of monsters and the macabre. I loved all that sort of stuff as a kid. I read the Usborne World of the Unknown Monster books. I watched Scooby Doo, Where Are You, and I collected these Monster in my Pocket minifigures. And I was lucky enough to get one of the big 24 packs, like that got you half of the toy line for either a birthday or Christmas. But most of the time when I was picking up Monster in my Pocket as a kid, it was in these cheaper sets, and these were really cool because you could see like the 25-point the 25-point monster, one of the sort of bigger quote unquote rarer figures, and then all the rest were blind packed in this 12 pack. It's sealed on one side, it's opened on the other, but the actual contents inside are still sealed. So you've got like sealed baggies of different color Monster in my Pocket minifigures inside here. Something I've been keeping an eye out for a while now. I've completed the Monster in my Pocket minifigure line, the first wave of 48 monsters from 1990. So now I'm just on the hunt for like a couple of different sealed packs in the different formats. And eventually as more of a grail item for me, as much as that's an overused term, I think it genuinely is, especially here in Australia, is the big Monster Mountain display where they all go, because they're really, really tricky to find. I'm yet to come across one here. So, but yeah, I was super, super stoked to grab this from Tony. So that'll get us started for me.
And Matchbox they released all of these, okay. Yeah, I didn't realize.
It's funny because Matchbox, they're obviously a car manufacturer, toy and die-cast car manufacturer, but Matchbox did another line that I'll share at some point, probably when we get to the honorable mentions. I mean, Matchbox did like obviously the Max Effect stuff that we've spoken about. They did the Monster in My Pocket stuff. They did other non-car toy lines as well. So yeah, Matchbox did a lot of cool stuff.
Because I know Matchbox did a Thunderbirds line in the early 90s as well. So they kind of delved into toys every now and then. I think, did Matchbox also do those Armageddon ones? Remember they did Armageddon and they did a Bruce Willis and
did they?
Ben Affleck. I think that was Matchbox. Someone.
Okay. Yeah, they did some cool stuff. And I know Dean loves a bit of Monster in My Pocket as well. I think he's got one left from the original series that he's chasing. So I knew he'd appreciate that one.
Is Enzo being a bit cheeky? Matt, that's not 8 inches.
Yeah. I thought I'd leave that one alone.
No, that's all right. That's all good. It's funny.
No, I know. He's good for a laugh in the chat. Yeah, I think he is definitely being cheeky.
Cheeky fella. Oh, me. Okay, back to me.
Back to you. Number 4.
Yeah, number 4. So this one came from NECA. It's funny. I was looking at my 5 this year, and I guess the majority of them are actually modern stuff, which I'm a bit surprised. But it is what it is, I guess. I was looking forward to this figure coming out. So it's another figure coming out in 2024, but it finally came out early 2025. So I've got this, and even then it was getting delayed. And it was this it's a bit lame, but it's a Jessica Fletcher, Murder She Wrote. And I finally got this. And, I did do a video on this, and me being me, I wanted to do a special intro inspired by Murder She Wrote, so it's never really come to fruition because I'm still kind of working on that. But she was excellent. Like, I don't know if I'm just trying to get that detail there with her.
I apologize. I'm hopeless. I'm trying to put you on the spotlight view.
Yeah. Oh, can you just grab my box and drag it onto you?
There we go. I got it. There we go. Thank you, mate.
So there's Jessica Fletcher, and it's like she came with 2 heads, but I find this head is the best.
Yeah.
And these are all cloth clothes. It's like they're wired up as well, like the belt's wired up and the edge of the jacket's wired up as well. Yeah. So you can get her into some really cool poses, and that's why I think I wanted to do that intro with her, because she's just I can just do have a lot of fun with it. And I think even that scarf there, she's almost like a doll, really. And you can take off, because I had some fun with her and Elvira, and swap them over. And anyway.
If I remember correctly, this time last year we were talking about this. Like, this is something you've been on the hunt for in 2025. Hey,
correct. Yeah, I found that this was coming out, and I really wanted it, and so that was going to be on my on my wish list. So it finally, after many delays, like I was originally ordering it from Big Bad Toy Store. It was kept getting delayed, and then I just seen someone, I think it was some guy in France with it. So I just thought I'd check Pop Culture, and they had it, and it was in stock. So I got it, and so it was about April, May. I think I got that in the end. So yeah, I think that's a lovely figure. I used to love Murder, She Wrote. I used to watch it with my mum and dad quite a lot, and so a lot of fond memories with Murder, She Wrote. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I was really looking forward to this figure, and it didn't disappoint. Because sometimes you look forward to these things, and they disappoint when you get them, especially with modern toys.
Yeah.
But I wasn't with her, so that's my number 4 for 2025.
Yeah, sorry, mate. I'm fumbling around here like a
no, that's all right, because I understand. Like, as you said, you haven't done this for.
I haven't. But look, we've got a bunch of people in the chat that are showing their appreciation for the Murder, She Wrote figure. We've got Andrew finding it a particularly attractive figure.
In one way or another, she's hot. Yeah. I thought you'd appreciate it. Yeah. Reboot with Meryl Streep. Yeah, I think they're talking actually about Jamie Lee Curtis. Actually, I've heard there's even been interviews with Jamie Lee Curtis, I think.
And we've got Mr. Reynolds in the chat. G'day, Luke.
G'day, Lukey.
Morning, mate. I'm assuming it's relatively early morning for you.
I think it's 8:30.
Oh, that's all right. It's a nice hour for a Sunday morning. Appreciate you popping in. And Luke loves the old Jessica Fletcher as well.
Tunes in, yeah. I do like my old IPs.
with that figure, mate, I'm assuming it's just like a one and done figure release. There's not other characters from the show that are being released in a similar scale.
No, nothing. Like so they did a couple. They did like I don't know if you've seen those toony ones. They're a little bit cartoony. They're probably about 5-6 inches. They released one of her in that as well. But that was it. So there was no Sheriff Tupper because she was the main star throughout those 12 seasons. Yeah. And others were just guest cast, really. But that's all we want.
Yeah.
Angela Lansbury.
That's the most important one.
I feel that too.
Alrighty, I'll fire away with mine. But before I do, we'll just say g'day to Stu. Welcome, mate.
Stu. Welcome.
Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a nice weekend.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so for me, number 4 is a Mad Balls piece, and again, like, this is something that for anyone who's watching in the UK or in the US would really not be that big a deal. Like, they're I see them in every Toy Fair video that I watch, in the UK particularly, but it's a complete Mad Balls head popper. So, Matt, you know that I've been looking out for Mad Balls stuff forever, right? Like, this for years, I've been on the lookout for some Mad Balls bits and pieces. I've collected together a few bits and pieces from the vintage Mad Balls line, but 2025 was the first year where I got a complete head popper with a working clip, and I feel almost bad. I feel hesitant to do this because these are known to break really easily, but at least for the purpose of the stream, I've got to show you guys.
Yeah.
The clip actually works.
Oh, so, that's and you caught it.
Yeah,
how's that?
It's got some force too. So this is Dust Brain. So he's the mummy. From 1986 Am Toy, just tons of great detail. And the Head Poppers line, as I've spoken about before on live streams and videos before, the Head Poppers line is like my favorite series of Mad Ball figures. The classic foam Mad Balls are cool. Then you got the wind up water squirters and all that good stuff. But I love when Am Toy decided to add bodies to the to the Mad Balls, because it just kind of brings them to life. You know what I mean? I really like these.
I am used to just the head, so to see that is very cool.
Yeah. So I was stoked to pick this up. I think there's 8 in the line. I would love to, over time, piece together a complete set of these. So I'll definitely be continuing to look for them. Actually, 2025 was a really good year for Mad Balls for me, because I picked up the complete Dust Brain, and then I also picked up a couple of heads from the Head Poppers for a couple of other characters like Screamin' Mimi and Hornhead. So, like, there's a couple there where I just need the body, which is usually not that. It's usually not that difficult to find. But obviously I want the working clips because I want to be able to display them all on their head on their bodies. So stoked to find that this year. This was a real highlight. eBay pickup.
Yeah.
So just one of those surprises where you don't often see them, on Australian eBay listed locally with a $9.95 shipping. So I was stoked. I had to jump on that.
That's sweet. I was going to ask where you got that from. I can't remember you getting that from a toy fair.
Yeah, just the old eBay pickup. So I was really pumped with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit sad, but a lot of our hunting, like as much as we love collecticons, it does get a little bit hard these days to find.
It does. Yeah, it really does. Thanks, Dino. Yeah, indeed, mate. It took. I've been banging on it to anyone that'll hear me talk about how much I love Mad Balls for ages now. So glad to finally have a complete one in the collection. And like Mad Balls, I just I like to display all of those similar toy lines together. So I don't ever expect to have a shelf dedicated just to Mad Balls, but I've got my Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. I've got all my Mad Ball and Weird Ball knockoff stuff. I've got my Trash Head, my Lanard stuff. So it's cool just to put all the gross out stuff on a shelf together. Even if I was only to have 2 or 3 of them, it just looks nice with all the other stuff. With all the other similar gross out late 80s.
You love that gross out stuff.
I do, mate. I'm a sucker for it.
It's very cool.
Yeah, I know. Look, it's actually a funny one. I've heard people say that you shouldn't even display them with the heads on. Like it's not even about using that popping motion, even just having them clipped in. Because when I just put that on, I can tell that I'm completely compressing what is, I suppose, an almost 40-year-old spring. So I've heard people talk about not even displaying the heads on the bodies. I haven't been. I've just been displaying the head next to the body because I'm too scared to just hear a snap and then realize the thing's broken. So, yeah, the clips definitely break easily, mate.
You need like a special acrylic stand to maybe just hold the head there next to the body.
What's actually cool? When they're in package, the heads are separate from the bodies, but they're displayed in like a 2-section bubble that makes the head look like it's flying off the body. That's actually something that's quite smart that they did, considering how easily they break. Otherwise, you would have them snapping in the packaging. So it's interesting.
Okay, that's really clever.
Hey Georgie. Hope you're well. Hope you're having a nice weekend.
Hello.
Oh, we got the beefer all the way from North Carolina.
Oh, wow. Big beefer. Yeah, wow. It's great to have you here.
Hope 2026 is off to a great start for you, my friend.
Yeah. I have to say, Stephen, like I do watch your videos. Like you do quite a few vlogs, and I do watch them, but for some reason I watch them on my big TV, and I can't, I just can't comment, and which is a bit of a shame. I see Scott can comment, like obviously you watch on your phone.
Yeah,
and you can comment, and I just a lot of lately I've been watching a lot on my big screen, and I can't get to comment. But I'm trying to get.
I think that's the case for a lot of people these days, mate. Like I consume a lot of my YouTube on the telly, and I always try and remind myself to go back through my history and leave some comments. But when so much of what we watch is on the TV, and I suppose for live streams, I appreciate the amount of people that are contributing to the chat, because it's easy just to sort of watch a live stream from the TV where we don't have that same capacity as well. So always appreciate the comments and the support.
Yeah, but it's good to hear, Steve, that you're getting better. Like
100%, mate. 100%. Look after yourself. But glad to hear you're in good shape at the moment, mate. Alrighty, over to you, Matt. Number 3.
Oh, number 3. All right, let me get that back up. All right. Oh, these ones. Yeah. So last year was 40 years of the Goonies. So
yes.
And I love the Goonies. I mean, I made a video on these, so I guess I won't go into too much detail. But Mezco, under their 5 points range, released 5 Goonies figures. So we'll start with Sloth, and Sloth's pretty special because he's got like you can see the Superman symbol on his shirt. So they've paid a little bit of extra money to get that symbol put on there, because I think Reaction did these 10 years earlier, and they didn't do that. But then they had an SDCC version. They and it's always a little bit hard to get those SDCCs. So there's that, and they all come with, I don't know if you can see, it comes with an accessory like a pirate hat, a cutlass. I think that was his Babe Ruth, but I guess they didn't pay for any royalties for that. They came with a stand. So that was Sloth. So you can see at 5 points. and on the back is basically just the rest of the gang there. So obviously I got these. I think these Stu's 24-hour live stream, Adam Berry was talking about them, and I jumped all over it. Went on to Pop Culture a day later, and I seen them actually coming on. Like, I think they were there ready to come on, and I snaffled them up. And yeah, so that's Chunk. What's Chunk got? He's got his pirate hat and his cutlass as well. So I just remember going to see my mum taking us to see the Goonies back in December, I think '85, and I've just had this love of the Goonies. I don't know if they're talking about bringing it back, but I don't really know where they're going to go with it, and I won't say too much about that. But these figures, it's a bit of a shame they don't release the three older characters. You can see up the top there. There's Brand, and I can't remember Steph, and I forgot the other one. Doesn't matter. See, you don't even remember their names. That's probably why they don't make the other three figures. But I love these. They're all just basically just obviously 5 points of articulation, and there's Mouth with his he's got his pirate cup full of treasure and his lanterns.
They look really good, mate, because
good likenesses. Yeah.
So let me just get to Dino's question there. He's asking where you got them.
Yeah, that was Pop Culture Dino, but you're not going to find them there now. I think by the time I put the video out a few weeks later, they were gone. So you'd have to look at the secondary market. I haven't actually looked at the secondary market. No need, right?
They're really cool because
very cool.
The sort of form factor, like the 3 3/4 or 4-inch sort of scale, 5 POA, they're sort of released in like a figure base that you'd probably get if they released toys from the film back in the day. But the likenesses are really strong as well, and they got really cool accessories and
such a good likeness.
Yeah, I actually do really like it when figures are released from films from the 80s or late 70s or early 90s or whatever it might be, and they're not too deluxe in terms of their posability and swappable heads and hands. I mean, that's cool if you collect 6-inch figures and you want that extra scale, likeness, detail, accessories, posability. But if it's more of a nostalgia purchase, I think it's cool when the figures are released in a style that they would have been if they 100%. Were released back in the day.
And Mezco, they had the license back obviously 10 years ago, and they did like a 5-6-inch range, but they were more a bit of a statue. They had very limited articulation, good likeness once again. But I think I'm glad I held out for these. I didn't track the other ones down because they're pretty penny as well. Like I think I remember Kyle selling the set for $900 a couple of years ago. Those ones. So I was just really happy. And I was going to say something I forgot, but anyway. That's my number 3, the Goonies. So, that was my dilemma. Do I remove them because I'm predominantly a loose collector?
Yeah.
But Andrew, he basically said, look, if you're going around that collection and you got the loose figures mixed in with other figures, people might not recognize it straight away.
True.
So if you've got them on the cards straight away, you know what they are. So
true. Exactly right.
It on card with these ones. Thanks, Jules. Yeah.
100%. Jules loves it. Sean saying Andy is the girl in Goonies.
Thanks, Andy.
There it
Thank
is.
You very much, Sean.
Michael saying, awesome figures, gives me hope for BMX Bandits figures one day. Oh man, can you imagine them?
Wow.
They'd be really cool. The colors, the bikes, they'd have to come out with bikes.
Yeah. It's got to be 3 3/4 too, right?
Definitely.
Figure. Definitely keep it on card. Yeah. And they were too expensive to buy 2 sets of, ideally 2 sets. Similar to what you do with JoJo, Classified Stew, and yes, Star Wars stuff. But no, actually, my brother got the Lego ship for Christmas, so I can at least go and check that out when he builds it. So I'm pretty happy that he got that from his kids.
Definitely. Just going back a little bit in the chat, Sean saying that. So this year he's still chasing 2 Toxic Crusaders, Junkyard and Toxie, 35 years and counting. Yeah, I mean, they're not like for an early 90s figure. Yeah, for an early 90s figure line, like a lot of the 90s stuff is not that difficult to collect, but Toxic Crusaders, they're particularly complete with all the accessories. They're not easy to find. Toxie probably would be the easier one out of those 2. Junkyard's a trickier one, Sean, but hopefully you can track those down this year, mate. Hopefully you can come across some in your travels to add to your collection.
Are they hard to find complete, do you think, too?
Well, look, I think so. I mean, they command a pretty penny complete because they came with so many accessories. Like in typical Playmates toys, early 90s fashion, some of the figures have like 6, 7 accessories between a belt or bandolier, you know, a couple of guns, a knife, 3 grenades, a flag. Like they come with a lot of stuff.
Yeah, this Toxie came with Blobby, didn't he? And a couple of grenades.
Yeah,
and
the glow-in-the-dark accessory in Toxie's case is Blobby. Yeah. Dino's other half is riding with a leg. I'm loving seeing on Instagram some of those sets that Sarah's been building. It's really cool.
Need some Muppet Lego. I wonder if they'll ever do. Oh, well, they've done the minifig Muppets. I can't think of any other Muppets they've done. I'd love to get that type of stuff. Dino.
Alrighty. Let me just grab mine. Sorry, I probably should have had it a little bit handier. So number
off the cuff.
Hang on. I'm honestly still going back and forth on my order. No, I'm going to change my mind.
Oh, you're going back and forth in your order?
I'm going back and forth. Sorry about that. Okay, so number three for me is going to be, and again, mine are all vintage pieces. So I suppose, Matt, we've got a little bit of balance between us. You know, you're more of a modern heavy. I'm obviously into the vintage, but speaking of 1991, when we were just talking about Sean's Toxic Crusaders, I got the 1991 Kenner Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure phone booth, complete in box. Boxes opened, as I shared in a recent video and a little bit knocked around, but the contents are immaculate. The stickers are all beautiful. It's got the aerial piece. The play feature works. It's amazing. So this was a piece from the Monster Size Vintage and Modern Toy Fair in August of last year, which I did with Dino and Sarah. And I was stoked to find this. This is something like the Mad Balls that I've been, you know, I think I did a video on my channel like in late 2021 where I picked up a bunch of the figures. And I spoke about how much I wanted the phone booth, maybe 2022. So, you know, as long as you and I have been doing this stream 4 years or so, I've been on the hunt for this. So
ever since I've known you, Scott, you've wanted this phone booth. So
not quite, because actually it's funny you should say that. The first time I discovered the Kenner Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure line was when I first visited Andrew's collection room, and I was like, what? They did Bill and Ted figures? And then I went into like a bit of a researching deep dive and found that there was an animated series that followed the films, and then obviously I had these figures based on the animated series, complete with the phone booth. So yeah,
that's sweet. That is very nice. And you can open it up, right? Because I think you said like
of course, yeah. In fact, let me just open it up and quickly show it off. I've done a video where I talk about this in a little bit more detail in my monster size vintage and modern toy fair hunt. But let's just, while we're talking about it, let's just get it out. And there we have it. The antenna is inside, but
yeah, that's nice. Look at that.
Sorry about that.
No, don't apologize.
When
you went to your 50, you're dropping everything all over the place.
Yeah, there it is. So yeah, I was stoked to grab this. I love it.
Yeah, I know.
It's such a great display piece with the figures. You know, you slot Rufus inside the phone booth, like when he makes his first appearance in the film. The figures around it, that awesome Grim Reaper figure.
It's such a cool toy.
I love it. It's funny. I'm just reading Luke's comment there. I tend to think that we often have to pay more for this stuff down here. This was like, I think I paid $200 on the dot, so maybe £100 for this complete in box, you know, unused. So I'd be curious from your perspective, Luke, and don't tell me, you know, don't try and make me feel better, but I'd be curious to know if, say, £100 complete in boxes would be a decent price for you there in the UK, or if it's more or less. But look, either way, I don't care. I was stoked to grab this last year, so this was always going to be in the top 5. There's some of those pieces where you pick up and you're like, you know, now that we've been doing this stream for a few years running, I'm like, yeah, I get a sense when I'm like, yeah, I'll probably be talking about this in our stream that we do, you know.
Yeah. And I remember watching you going that video, and you went there. I think, did you get to the table and you kind of did a round and came back to it?
I did because I didn't really want one in box because I'm not going to display it in the box. I mean, the box will go on the shelf somewhere, but I was more thinking to myself, I think it was like the ticketed price was $235. And I was like, oh, look, maybe I can find one cheaper that's not in the box. But the fact is, I've been looking for one for this many years, and that was the first one I'd seen here in Australia. So I wasn't going to find another one in a hurry. Yeah.
No.
Okay. Well, there you go. I appreciate that, mate.
Oh, okay. Wow. But yeah, that's a bit of a surprise. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah, a bit of love for Bill and Ted in the chat. Look, I love the Bill and Ted movies. I've still to this day not seen the latest one, the Bill and Ted Face the Music. So I'm imagining it's probably not as good.
No, I don't think. Look, in my humble opinion, I don't think it's as good as the first two. They're just. It's primarily a little bit of too much focus on their daughters. I think. Okay. Not enough on them, but anyway. They never seem to be able to capture. It's like lightning in a bottle, isn't it? They just can't really can't get it again.
Oh, mate, it's 100%. G'day, Hero. Happy New Year to you.
Hello, Hero.
Well,
welcome. Great to have you here.
All righty, back to you, my friend.
Oh yeah. So as I said, there was a bit of modern. However, the next two are vintage, and you will remember these, Scotty. You were with me when you got these. So my number two, these were, I think, September, October finds. I don't know why I've only got two. I think the third one's in the garage. So I'm only going to get two because I'll just.
Of course, I know exactly what you got there. Yeah.
Oh, Butch and Sundance, the early years. Kenner, 1979, I think. I just like Tony B had these. He had the set of three. I mean, there's more. I think it's 5 figures, but he had 3 of them on card. I mean, this is the one I really, really wanted because it's William Catt. I've loved William Catt since the Greatest American Hero days. So this was. I'm trying to get past my microphone here, but there you go. That's a fast draw action figure. But he came with this acrylic case, and I can pull him out, so it's just a protective case. But I think the other guy I got was Sheriff. His head's cut off, but this one here is Sheriff Ray. So he's the third one, and the other guy I got was Butch. So that's Sundance, and this is Butch.
Very nice. So you were originally, if I remember correctly, Matt, you were going to grab the William Catt figure. And through a bit of, enabling, which is what we do, and obviously Tony B being an absolute gentleman and giving you a price that you couldn't say no to, you ended up getting the lot.
I know. So there was, I was only going to get William Catt. So, and I think you were enabling somewhat. It's what friends are for.
And team was there as well. I don't think it was me entirely, but that's okay.
But no. Oh, there you go. This one's unpunched. So there you go. You can see Sheriff Bledsoe up there. That's the third one in the garage somewhere. But I mean, you get the point. So there was a little button on the back. Kenner, lovely. Yeah. Well, Tony almost reduced me to tears because he was just like, such a great price for such a amazing vintage item. You just would never expect to find these carded. Like in the wild, right?
So, you were absolutely, Dino said it best. You were absolutely over the moon. You were speechless when you got them.
Yeah, I mean, like you kind of got to pinch yourself when you find something like this. So just
just loving the card backs on them.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, that's just amazing. And like they're pretty good condition. They're like held together there with, they're similar to the Star Wars case. They got that. They're holding them up there, so
holding the cards straight and
Anyway, that's a great vintage item.
100%. So, can I ask you a question? So, were they? That vintage action figure line, Old West Heroes or Wild West Heroes or something? Did they repurpose either the horses or the figures from that line into the other one?
Yes, they did. So, as you can see there's a couple of horses as well. Sundance horse and Butch and Sundance horses. So what happened was, I think a year later, this was obviously not a successful line. Then they released a line called the Real West, I think it was. Someone probably knows a bit more about it than I do. And they basically repurposed these figures in with a couple of new ones. I can't remember the new characters. It might have been a Geronimo.
Oh, yeah.
And they got those horses in there. So yeah, just trying to sell excess stock that was left over from this line. Very interesting. So I think, I'm not sure, maybe Usual Mike. I think Usual Mike did a little bit, because when he was doing the Lone Ranger figures from Gabriel, he sort of, I think, touched on this a little bit, I think. Maybe.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Anyway, it's a very interesting story when you do go into it and start researching those old figures, you know, how they used to repurpose them and put them. We all know the Star Wars stories, how they repurpose them for Prince of Thieves and many other lines.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Michael's saying pretty sure they use those horses for Lone Ranger and Zorro lines too. I'm not too sure, but that wouldn't surprise me.
I don't know, because that was Gabriel.
Okay.
Michael. I looked at that because I thought they were, and then they're apparently not. So Gabriel had their own horses. Yeah, yep. Two different toy companies.
Yeah. Yep. All right, I'll get into my number 2. Before I do, I just want to show Sean's comment here. He's saying that he's on the lookout for a Mattel Power Glove.
Mattel Power Glove.
That's not the Nintendo Power Glove, is it? I'm not sure if I know what a Mattel Power Glove is. I'm not too sure.
Is that something modern, Sean, or something vintage?
Oh, I wouldn't have thought so. I don't know. Dino's just commenting he saw one in Melbourne. So I'll definitely be Googling that one. All right, number 2.
Okay.
Yeah. Number 2 for me, I'm gonna give it to a Mighty Max piece. So I've been, working hard to try to complete or get as close to completing the collection of Mighty Max Doom Zones as I can. Mighty Max, if you're familiar with the Mighty Max line, you guys will know Mighty Max did a lot of different sizes of play sets, right down from the tiny little shrunken heads that had no play value, was just a tiny little play set with barely big enough to fit a Mighty Max figure inside, to the large Skull Mountains and Dragon Islands and all that good stuff. But my favorite of the Mighty Max toy line is the Doom Zones. They're, to me, that's the sweet spot for Mighty Max. They're small enough to fit in a kid's pocket. They're big enough to have 3-4 minifigures and accessories and play features and all the rest. There was 18 in the line in total. When I started 2025, I had 2 to go, and I managed to get one of them. So we've got Mighty Max Traps Radis. And I won't open this up and show it off because it's really difficult to do in this sort of format. I made a video sharing a trip to Lobo's Collectibles earlier last year, where I actually found it, and it was really cool because I didn't go into Lobo's Collectibles and find a complete version and pay a pretty penny for it. I found an incomplete version that was really well priced, that just so happened to have the pieces that I needed to complete another incomplete version that I had at home. So I could pick off I could use the shell that was in the best nick and use the accessories and combine it for a complete version. And I've got to give a shout out to Brad, a dude named Brad, because Brad actually gifted me the shell of the previous one that I had with a couple of accessories at a Collecticon early last year, maybe even 2024 now that I think of it. So he sort of gifted me the other bits and pieces I needed to complete this. And this is definitely one of the sort of hardest 2 or 3 Mighty Max Doom Zones to find. So I've been on the lookout for this one for a few years now. So I was really happy to be able to tick this off. So Mighty Max Trap Radis, 1994 release. So the final release of the Doom Zones, like most vintage lines, the final year they released yet less of them, less units. So yeah, they're always a bit trickier to find and a bit more of a hit to the wallet, unfortunately. But I was stoked to grab this. Somebody who loves a bit of Mighty Max as well.
Am I allowed to ask what the last one is? Or
the last one is Mighty Max Sinks Nautilus.
Oh, that's the snail?
That's the sea snail one, which is awesome. So that's the last one to tick off.
That's very Dr. Dolittle-ish.
Yeah.
Did I say right, Dr. Dolittle?
Yeah, definitely. Yep, Dino was there.
Why are you there all the time, Dino, when we're being enabled?
But Dino, I'm grateful for that enabling, because I was like, oh, do I really want to spend $70 on an incomplete set? Like I would have been so annoyed at myself if I didn't grab it, knowing that it had the pieces inside that, I needed to complete mine. So yeah, I was stoked with that. And it is the okay. So Mattel made what we call the Nintendo Power Glove. Okay, I thought so. When I heard Power Glove, that's what I thought. It just the Mattel threw me off. Yeah, yeah.
I'm so old that I only remember Atari. That's cool. It's made by Jax.
Oh, there you go. Okay, Jax made a Japanese version for Famicom. I didn't know that. That's cool.
Okay. Live and learn. I like it.
Alrighty. Well, should we do? Right. So we've got number one next. Each of our favorite pickups from 2025. Should we do a few honorable mentions?
Honorable mentions, yes. All right, I'll kind of get through these. Yeah, it's so hard, Scott. Like there were so many very cool action figures this year. But
yeah.
The one I'll start with some Motu.
Yeah.
And these are just both mermen, really, and they're just very cool mermen this year that they have released, Mattel. And look, it was a while back. So the first one I'll show is this merman. Oh,
I've got to make you big for that. That figure.
Yeah, I do. Okay. I've got a complete mental blank with these as well. So that he came with like legs, and they're like it's translucent plastic there, like that, and you can see under that. I'll turn around the back actually. So that's all translucent plastic. I think this was. Oh, anyway, this was a Walmart. I think it was a Walmart exclusive. So I had very little hope initially of picking this figure up, and I found it on Amazon. And to get it out here from Germany was a mere $70, something like that. And they were wanting an absolute mozza on the secondary market on eBay, like up to $150, $160 to get this out here. And I just love it. Like, this is like the cross with Ninja Turtles, Motu cross.
Yeah, the Turtles of Grayskull. You know what's interesting, and I can't get to it because it's in one of my cabinets, and if I do, I'm going to pull everything down. I had someone in the comments section of one of my Turtles videos just the other day saying, I when you look at the TMNT Merdude figure from 1992, you can see where they've got the inspiration from all of the for all of the armor and for the accessory and stuff like that. It's very reminiscent of Merdude in the vintage TMNT line.
Well, I think I may have mentioned to you that if I decide to get one more turtle, it would be Merdude. This Merdude, well, he's just my dude. Like I love Merman, and he's a Merdude. So, and the other one's another Merman, which was from the Monsterverse. And like, I don't know if you can see that, but he has got like glass eyes there.
Oh yeah, I was actually looking at this in your collection room last time I was there, wasn't it?
Absolute amazing sculpt for Merman. Like, the first one they did in the Monsterverse was based on the Netflix cartoon, and it was a bit disappointing. He had no armor, and he had one eye. Like, look, it was a disappointing representation of Merman. This one, they've just nailed it, and you can see his sword on the back there. You can stick it on the back, so very cool, and how the paint sort of just blends in from the yellow to the green, and oh my god, like I love this figure. So much. Mattel, whoever sculpted this, kudos to these guys. This was like one of the top mermen. Those two mermen are definitely honorable mention. Another honorable mention is, can I include this? I don't know, but this is something I did, and you know where I'm going with this, don't you, Scotty?
I do, yeah.
This was actually initially, I think, it's a little bird helicopter from, I think, True Soldiers, or it was just one of those knockoff lines, like knockoff G.I. Joe lines. So I bought it, and I've just pulled it apart, and I've stripped it back, and primed it and painted it all up. And it's actually in scale with the Playmobil, because I got the Playmobil Magnum PI Ferrari, so it's actually in scale with Playmobil. And look, I guess it is a toy, but I've just customized this toy. And like, I am making a video on, I guess I took a lot of video, a lot of pictures of this as I went along. It probably, I don't know if it does it justice, actually. I'm like, when you see it, or you've seen it on up, I don't know if this.
Well, it completes the display with the figures and the vehicle really nicely.
It does. And it's just like when I look at it, it pops. There's just
Yeah.
layers and layers of paint to get that color right.
Yeah.
And the lines, like, I'm giving myself a pat in the back because, like, I really didn't think that I could get this done, and I kind of blew myself away a little bit with it, and I've just got to try and figure out a way to film it. I want to do the Magnum PI introduction with it, and the Playmobiles, like, fellas, and so I'm getting around to it.
Yeah.
As you know. So that's number 2. I've got one more.
Yep.
And that's something I got towards the end of the year, and it's actually, look, another modern toy, and this is like from G.I. Joe Classified, and I love the creatures. They're a 6-inch line, as you know. That's the box, and this is the 2 figures on the back. It's just this massive polar bear with snake eyes. It's based off the G.I. Joe cartoon from the 80s.
Yeah.
Where Snake Eyes went off and had to get some radioactive material, and that's why. So his figure is very like, it's like the cartoon. So he's got pink, like, lovely pink hands, very basic. He's got a blue uniform, some like purple tones there on his harness and his glasses, his goggles. So, but the bear, oh my god, this is the reason I got this. Like, this bear is just
look
huge.
at that head sculpt.
Oh yeah, it's a shame there's no jaw articulation. I'm trying to get that in focus. There you go. That's a bit better.
Yeah. Okay. So no jaw articulation, but it's still like in a really dynamic pose, like that.
Yeah.
That's the open mouth is awesome. Oh, you got 2 heads. Okay, there we go. You got the alternate heads.
With 2 heads, open and closed mouth, and it's fully articulated, so you can just stand there, and the head can come down like this. I feel like I'm being a bit rough, but I'm just sort of. So its head can come down and like that. So it's just, massive. When it stands up next to a 6-inch figure or 7-inch figure, it's huge. So come with a few accessories like a bear trap and a few other bit of skin that you can sort of peel off his, and it's got a couple of arrows in it like that.
Oh, that's cool.
A very cool, like, I don't get any really classified, but that polar bear sold me. So they're my special. That's my honorable mentions.
That's really cool. Yeah, so a bit of battle damage, I suppose, Dino.
Yeah, it is. It's that battle damage.
Really cool.
Yeah,
mate, a lot of love for the custom in the chat. We've got Matt Toy Company. So Matt putting the Matt and Mattel there, I suppose. Projects where you impress yourself for the best, because I suppose you're going to be pretty hard on yourself. We're all our own worst critics. So I think if you can sit back at the end, and I'm sure it's the case for you as well, Nate. Like, and you really are happy with the work. That's got to be very satisfying.
Yeah. Well, I'll shout you out, Nate. Like, if none of you guys have subbed up Nate, don't sub him up, because he does some really good fixes. And look, he ended on a high with fixing that fright zone, and like that was brilliant. Like,
definitely
blew me away.
Definitely. Stu appreciates the G.I. Joe classifieds for sure.
Well, because you get them as well. Yeah.
Alrighty, I'll do a couple of honorable mentions myself. The first one's going to be really hard to display because it's a lot, but I'll just show you guys a couple. So I reckon maybe like 3 years ago now. So you know how Matt, I like all the monster stuff, and part of my collecting monster figures is the dodgy knockoff ones as well. And I've got my Sun Gold Sharpan Joe and all that sort of stuff. Well, Sun Gold also did a PVC mini monster figure line of all monster knockoffs. Like, we've got the knockoff Freddy Krueger. I picked this up maybe three years ago.
Okay, yeah.
So what I found just before Christmas was I found a lot of 8 of the other Sun Gold monster PVCs from this same line. Wow. I'm not gonna show them all just because it's bloody hard to do just quickly, because these are honorable mentions. But you've got the Mummy, you've got the Frankenstein. So it's all of these dodgy, weirdo little sort of, I don't know, 2.5 inch monsters. We've got, a mad scientist. We've got this blue underground, like, sea creature dude with chains and seaweed and stuff all over him. So
Wow.
yeah, I got a lot of 6 of them.
Yeah.
I already had the Freddy
Thanks,
Krueger
Steve.
knockoff, and I already had the little Hunchback. So there's only
Yep.
3 or 4 that I'm missing now to complete the line.
That's
And
it.
and I got to give a shout out to a bloke named, a name that will be familiar, I know, to Dino and like other sort of Australian collectors who are on the the Australian Facebook community groups and stuff, Matty Wacker, because he placed the first bid on the lot, and then I bid after him, and he's like, "Oh, all yours, Scott. If you make a video on them, they're all yours." So I appreciated that. Now I suppose I've got to complete the set and get around to making that video. But it's funny. Like eBay as an auction forum is such an anonymous forum, but then you get on the Facebook groups where we all know one another, and it kind of becomes a little bit tricky at times to bid against people that you know. So I appreciate Maddie for doing that for me. So that's an honourable mention that I just wanted to share.
Mm-hmm.
And then
You've got to be more, right?
I got more. Yep, absolutely.
Good.
I got 3. So that was the first one.
Oh,
Thank you, Jill. My second one was a really early 2025 pickup, and that's the we were talking about Matchbox producing toys that aren't cars. Obviously, Matchbox also produced the Ring Raiders, and you had the good guys, which were the Ring Raiders. You had the bad guys, which were the Skull Squadron, and each of the factions had one of these battle blasters. It was like you strap it to your wrist and you make sound effects while you run around the house with the planes on the rings on your fingers. And I had one of these as a kid. And just had an absolute ball with it. And I've got the Ring Raiders version, which is sealed. I've never opened it. I picked that up probably at this point, 5 years ago. I think I picked it up during COVID, actually, maybe closer to 6 years ago now. But earlier last year, I found the villains version from Tony B at I think this was just on Facebook. I saw this and managed to do a deal with him. So that's my second honorable mention. You know me, Matt. I love the Ring Raiders.
I do love Ring Raiders. So that's sealed, that one?
That's not sealed, but it's so I can actually open it up and have a little look at it, which is really cool.
Good.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, Sean. I don't know. Like I still kind of laugh at myself. Look, I suppose you talk about the toys that kids these days play with compared to what we played with back in the 80s and 90s, and how like immersive video games have made it really hard for a lot of kids these days to just sort of connect with action figure play. I still have to chuckle at myself putting rings on my finger that had planes attached to them and just running around the house making like plane noises. Like, but that was that era, wasn't it? Like the imagination did so much. You didn't need much to be able to amuse yourself. A little figure that didn't have much articulation, and you just told the story, didn't you? Like,
video games hadn't taken over. Obviously, didn't have mobile phones, so kids have got a lot to distract them and their imagination these days.
100%.
90s still good.
100%. Luke, I didn't know that. I actually didn't know Matchbox did Mad Balls. I've never seen a Mad Balls like card back or package that's got the Matchbox branding on it. I don't know if they were actually branded Matchbox, but that's interesting to know. My third one is a little bit of a sort of a throw-in one at the end. And it's not, you guys will probably, I mean, maybe with a lot of the stuff I collect, people might look at it and think it's not a blow, these aren't blow-away pieces, but they're hard to find here. I like a lot of the more obscure stuff that's bloody hard to find here in Australia. So I've got a Mattel Attack of the Killer Tomatoes figure from 1991. And I picked this up at Lobo's when Dino and I were down there in February. It was actually, and it's funny, Matt, when we were there back in like 2022, this was there. So it was the same. It was the same one sitting there 3 years later that I just had to pick up.
Well, that's good. It was just meant to be a match made in heaven.
So, and I love this stuff. Like I said, when we were talking about my Mad Balls head popper, like I just display all of these sorts of things all together. It's just a colorful mix of just weirdness, and I love it.
Yeah. Can you see me at the moment, Scotty, or am I gone a bit black?
You're gone a bit frozen. You look like you're making a phone call to someone with your hand.
A phone call? What? Let me just.
Can you still see me?
Oh yeah, I can still see you, but my screen's gone a bit black. So
maybe do you want to jump out and jump back in, or turn your camera off and back on?
Yeah, I'll jump out and I'll jump back in.
Yeah, no worries at all, mate. Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine, Dino. Like a phone booth, like a physical phone booth these days is such a relic of the past. But I hope just for nostalgia's sake they don't go anywhere, mate. It's really cool to see them. Sean, yep, very true, mate. I mean, look, yeah, like I suppose it's the way of the world these days. You know, kids that are going to grow up in this day and age, you want them to be proficient in the technology. But yeah, good old toys, I suppose, don't really stand as much of a chance as they would have back in the day. Yeah, absolutely, Nate. It's funny. I feel like phone booths were, between Superman and Bill and Ted, they were a bit of a staple of pop culture back in the day. Matt, I don't know if you can. I can see you backstage, but your mic and camera aren't connected, so I can't bring you back in. Yep, Orally's appreciating the Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Yep, we need an heirloom tomato version. That's exactly right. Alrighty, well, guys, while I wait for Matt to to come back in, I might just skip Matt and go straight to my number one pickup of 2025. And I'm hoping Matt's going to be joining me back again. But so my number one pickup of last year was actually something that I got once again, like so many of the things that I've picked up from good old Tony B from Uncle T's Toys. And it's actually an item from another one of these vintage toy lines from back in the day that I feel like are way more common in the US or UK than here in Australia. I've been keeping an eye out for this toy line for so long now, and I just find them in dribs and drabs. But I managed to find probably the biggest piece from the toy line. I'm talking about Mattel Food Fighters from the late 80s. So my number one favorite pickup of last year was actually the Food Fighters. What was this called? The combat carton. That's right. I was just having a mental blank there. So this was the big vehicle from the Food Fighters line. Obviously, it's essentially just like an army personnel unit that's in the shape of an egg carton. Food Fighters, if you guys aren't familiar, are anthropomorphic fast food, and they're all sort of rubbery, almost like a bit of a dog toy. And with the combat carton, we've got Private Pizza, one of the good guys. So I was stoked to grab this. Tony always looks after me with a great deal, so I was pumped to have to come across the combat carton from the Food Fighters line. Let me just check. I think I might have Matt texting me. Okay, Matt will be back with us shortly. He's just restarting his PC. So what I'm going to do, because I'm appreciating the fact that we've got 26 people here and it's just me, what I will do, guys, is I will start to spin it forward and talk about the things that I'll be on the hunt for next year. Before I do that, let's just recap what I was what I was on the hunt for, what my wish list looked like for last year, so we can see how I did. Some of the items that I just shared in my top 5 from last year were things that were on that wish list. But before we do that, let me just catch up on the chat. Yeah, appreciate that, Dino. Yeah, I was absolutely pumped to see that, mate. That was, I was, I can rely on Tony B to find all that good stuff that I struggle to find elsewhere. Thanks, Jewel. I appreciate that. Cheers, Sean. Thanks for that, mate. Alrighty, so I'm gonna have to dip into another screen and I'll just start to share with you guys the things that I was most on the hunt for in 2025. Oh, hang on. Before we do that, Matt is back. G'day, Matt.
Hello. Sorry about that.
I can see and I can hear you.
Technology is crazy, my friend. Sorry about that.
It is. Everyone. No, that's all right, mate. No stress at all. Alrighty. Just in time, Matt. I did my number one.
Oh, yes, that's a good idea. One.
So just to recap for your benefit, mate, I think you've seen this already, but mine was the Food Fighters combat carton.
Oh, of course. Look at that.
Yeah. I found it really, the order chopped and changed for my other items, but I found it really hard not to put this in number one spot, just because, again, like with Mad Balls, I've been talking about Food Fighters for years now with you about how rarely I see them. And this is the big large item from that. This was the
From that
biggest of the
line.
vehicles from that line. So when I got this
Yeah.
earlier last year, and it's complete with all the projectiles. It's not quite complete. It's missing a gun there just at the front.
Yeah.
I had to scoop that up.
Oh yeah, for sure. I forgot you got that actually, but yeah, that's definitely have to make it in there. It's funny how you like I've put mine in purchase order. So
Yeah,
the last one for me
is a recent
was,
pickup then.
it is December. That's how recent. And that was from, well, a man that you know really well and is my great mate, Andrew. And look at this. It's basically the final figure I need for the vintage line. And that's Buzzsaw Hordak. So you can, I don't know if this is going to work, but, well, it does actually, I know. So you push his cape down and inside is his buzzsaw. And I think that fires out well and truly. So that's
Nice.
Buzzsaw Hordak. And it's down there somewhere. But yeah, so that's awesome. Andrew got that for me for a combined Christmas birthday present, and I love it. It's just so that's basically it for my vintage line. It's in great condition. I can see I think you can see there that he doesn't really have any scratches off the top, and it's a really hard figure to find these Hordaks without any paint removal on top there.
Yeah.
So it's just in beautiful condition, and I'm really happy. Thank you, Andrew. I know you're still watching out there. So thank you very much for this. It's a beautiful one.
So Matt, you might have said this, but did you say that was the last? That was the last vintage Motu figure that you needed, or are you still?
Well, yeah, I should be. Yeah, I should be specific. Like, I still need a couple of the. I was going to call them Eggtrons. The what are they called? The meteor orbs. I need a couple of more of those. So I don't know if I don't know if they're figures, but I guess they are. And of course, I'm not going to ever get the two giants, and probably won't get the laser light ones. They're a little bit out of. I can't justify paying $10,000.
Yeah,
for those
I mean,
giants.
it's hard to justify. Were the laser lights? Were they part of the mainstream, like American line, or were they exclusive to Europe? Or
well, I think they were planned to be a unit like international. But I think as that was the last ones to be released, I think they just ended up being in Europe. Yeah.
Okay.
So same as the Giants, I think, from what I understand. So yeah, they were. So that's why they're just so hard to get. Once again, as you said, end of the line, always hard to get. So they don't count. Thanks, Dino. They're a weird thing. They're more like a transformer. Those things.
They don't scream Masters of the Universe, do they?
No, they're just trying to cash in on the whole Transformers thing. So that was about, I think they were about 85, 86, those meteor orbs. So that's my number one.
Oh, I love it, mate. Good pick. I'm glad you brought it home with some vintage at the end.
Yeah, it's a couple of vintage, and a few modern. So
nice mix.
Yeah,
we've got Living for Nostalgia in the chat. G'day. Hope
Hello,
you're doing well.
Living for Nostalgia. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, it's awesome.
Nate saying that his buzzsaw Hordak's missing the buzzsaw. Never realized it fires out. Just thought it rolled out. I didn't actually know how the play feature of the buzzsaw Hordak worked. That's awesome.
Yeah. I thought it was just that back. Because like the cape, sometimes the cape can also be come off because it's just attached like that. Slots in there, and as you can see, that just sort of moves down and releases it. So it's great. It did actually come with a mini comic as well. And it came with this lovely acrylic stand. So it just came with all the goods. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
Thanks for getting it.
Very nice. All righty. Well, there's our favorite pickups for last year. Some awesome pieces there. Some pieces there we're both very proud of. And I think what's good to do between now and obviously when we go to the next segment, which is our 2026 wish list, is let's just go through what we had on our 2025 wish list just to see how we went. I don't know. I mean, I do know, Matt, that there was at least one item there that was on your or maybe a couple that were on your 2025 wish list. So why don't we have a squiz at your 2025 wish list?
All righty. Well, let me.
You can talk us through how we went, what you found, what you didn't find, what we might be seeing in your 2026 list.
Yeah. Well, let me share. I'll share my screen with you, and you can. I'll share that.
Absolutely.
Because obviously I had to restart my PC after the kerfuffle.
Or do you want me to go first?
No, it's there
Oh,
now
you
that you
go?
can. Yep. So
There we go.
there we
So
go.
this is last year's wish list.
Yes. So this is number 5. As you can see, that was the one I just showed was my number 1.
Number 5 was number 1.
So number 5 became number 1. So I was pretty impressed with that. So
Yep.
not too much needs to be said about that. Let me just skip off into the next one. Number 4. I got these transitions. I'm so clever. Number 4 was Fearsome Flush. I never found it. You know, there's some that I'd like to find in the wild. I feel this is a figure that wouldn't be too hard to find in the wild. So I'm not going off on eBay trying to find this.
Yeah. I feel like you'll find it, mate. Honestly, Fearsome Flush.
Yeah.
I feel like it's only a matter of time.
Oh, this is Lee. Lee from the Two Barbarians. G'day, Lee.
G'day, Lee.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you're in the our live stream the other night. Okay, Ramageddon. Thanks, Lee.
Happy New Year, mate. Welcome.
Yes, Happy New Year. Well, I probably said that already. 3 was Jessica Fletcher. So I got her.
So you're 2 from 3 so far. You're doing quite well at
2 from 3. Well, and then let's put it this way. That's basically it. Number 2 is Pinsaw and the Battle Beetle.
So cool. Okay, so the search goes on for the sectors.
Yeah, so I really want this. Let's move on to number 1, and that was this. Now, I'll go more into that later, but that was my number 1. It was due September last year. It never arrived. So
okay, so this is not the vintage version. This is the new one that's coming out.
Yeah, I'll update that later.
Yeah, so you expected the timing on this one to put this in your hands late 2025, but it's been delayed.
It's delayed. So, but I've got more information on that. Andrew's sitting there eagerly waiting because I won't tell him what the update is on that. Holy Grails. I had 2 Holy Grails. The first one was something from the Inhumanoids range. Sadly, I failed. I did happen to pick up the other day when we went to Canberra a couple of the Inhumanoids humans. You see that on my Instagram. So I picked up 2 humans, so I've got 3 of the 4 humans now. But these, every time I put these on my watch list, they just get snaffled up really quick. So very popular line from 1986 Hasbro. So I am still on the hunt for these guys. And the last Holy Grail, because these were a lot more things that we could afford, right?
Yeah. Oh, and for sure.
This is my second one, which was the TSR Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. Also from LJ, and I think they were these things. This is something I had as a kid. So, but I feel that this year could be the year.
All righty, let's hope that's the case. We've got Crackles in the chat, feeling like he's cheating on Andrew watching us. And Andrew is eagerly anticipating his Eagle news. So
well, the good news is, Andrew, it's going to come very shortly.
Alrighty, so I'll share my top 5 from last year, and similar to Matt, I had some mixed success. So let me share this, starting with number 5. So number 5 for last year was the vintage Lego Pirates. Pirates was my choice of Lego as a kid. I've been talking about for a few years now starting a vintage Pirates Lego collection. I haven't. I've added so many of them to my watch list this year. I've and I've ahed, but the fact is, 2025 was a bit of a different year for my collecting. It was a lot more. It was a lot less scattered. You know what I mean? I was thinking a lot more about display space and what's going to slot right into my collection and what's going to make a bit of a headache for me by making me rearrange my collection room in order to free up a shelf. So I was really, although it was on the list for 2025, I sort of made a resolution later on that I wasn't going to start a new collection. And as recently as today, I added one of these sets to my watch list on eBay. But to this point, it's a no.
1 for 1, you failed at the moment. Come on, you got to beat me more than 2.
I'm 0 for 1. All right, let's go to the next one. What do we got? We got the 2 Mighty Max sets. Well, you guys saw the Mighty Max Traps Radis.
Yeah.
earlier in the stream
Mhm.
when I was counting down my top 5. I got
Yep.
some late breaking news.
Right.
I actually got a Mighty Max Sinks Nautilus complete, but I'm considering this. I'm considering this a 2026 pickup. It came in right at the end,
Okay.
so so this will. I'm feel pretty confident that already. You know, as we sit here on the 11th of January, I feel pretty confident that this is going to be in my 2026 top 5. So I'm half from 2 at the moment. Let's just say.
I'll give you one. Because it's
Um,
like one or the other. I'll give you one.
all right, let's go to the next one.
1 to 2.
This
No.
this is a big fail for me. I've been on the lookout for the Gooper Ghosts. I had 2 chances in 2025 to pick up Squisher. I got outbid once on eBay, and I got outbid once on an Uncle T's Facebook auction. Big shout out to Tony B. Check out Uncle T's Toys if you're an Aussie collector. And you're not already doing so. The Facebook group, Tony is a champion bloke and does some really fun live Facebook auctions. Like I said, 2 chances to pick up Squisher. I missed out on I was outbid on both. Sludge Bucket, I saw a version of him at Aaron's Collectibles, missing the tongue. I wasn't gonna grab it, without the tongue. So I want to get one complete. So I'll be on. Safe to say, I'll be on the lookout for that going forward. So let's say 1 for 3 at the moment.
Yep.
Then we've got the Hasbros. These are the latest 3 Hasbros that I've been chasing to complete Series 5. I had a good Hasbro year, Matt. I know you did too. 2025 was a good year for the WWF Hasbros for me. I picked up a bunch. I only got Martel out of those 3.
Okay, that's still pretty good.
Unfortunately. So I was able to pick one off the list.
Have you seen the Randy Savage on eBay at the moment? Like they want $100, but he's in that type of condition. Very good.
He?
Yes.
I'll have to go and suss it out. I'll have to because I feel like this is a figure that is it's not cheap, but it's a figure that's often really banged up. Missing fingers or a lot of paint rub, like the lettering rubbed off his jacket. So
just check it. We'll check him out. Yeah,
I'll check it out.
Sometimes there is these like first glance he looks good, but sometimes you need a fine eye, I guess.
Yeah. And then number 1 for me.
Right.
Oh, actually, hang on. Yeah, no, is that right? No, have I skipped one? Hang on.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, I skipped the first one. I'm such an idiot.
Oh.
I'm such an idiot. I went straight to number 4. Okay, number 5 for me.
Streaming noob.
Oh God, I'm hopeless. Apologies, everybody. Okay. Number 5 for me was the 4 TMNT figures, the last 4 figures that I need to complete the 1991 series. And I managed to get 3 of them. I got the Head Spinning Bebop, the Machine Gun and Rocksteady, and the Slapshot Leo all complete at the monster size Vintage and Modern Toy Fair in Melbourne, where I picked up the Bill and Ted's phone booth. The search goes on for Slam Dunk and Leo, but I think 3 or 4, I'm going to give myself a point there.
Oh, yeah. You're very good at your focus and aren't you? Like getting your wish list.
I do. So let's say, I've got 1 of 1, 1 of 2, 2 of 3, 2 of 4. And look, I got 1 of them. So, I probably got about half my list. You know what I mean?
Yeah. 2.5.
Let's say that.
Yeah. 2.5 out of 5.
And then if we talk grails, and again, guys, this is things that we can realistically hope to find here in Australia.
Yeah.
The quote unquote
afford too.
Sorry, what's that?
Realistically find and afford. Like they're not like that.
Correct.
Yeah, they're not out
exactly
of
right. So what I said was I said for sort of my quote unquote grail for 2025, I really wanted to find some of the 1980 Remco Universal Monsters mini monster 3 3/4 5 POA Universal Monsters officially licensed figures. You've also got that awesome mini monster play case there. I suppose I tick this off because at the Giant Size Vintage and Modern Toy Fair in February, I was able to get the Phantom of the Opera figure. Now he's missing his cape. He's a little bit dinged up, but it's the first time that I've ever seen a Remco mini monster in my travels here in Australia. So I had to scoop it up. So we managed to get something off that list.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
So
Yeah,
I
I
think
remember
I did
getting
okay.
one of these. They're like, just like maybe they just never came to Australia back in the 1980. Is
They're
that why
so
they're
hard.
just so hard to find here?
Yeah, they're so hard for sure. So that's how we both went. So I mean, you and I, we were both able to pick off a couple of items,
Yeah, I think that's pretty good.
but plenty that we're still looking out for.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I guess 2026 will be similar. Look, it is what it is, but there is some
Exactly.
new stuff on there.
Exactly. Dino's asking where all the Star Wars is. That's actually a great call
Oh, yeah.
because you haven't had any. There's no Star Wars. What's going on, Matt?
I don't know. Do you know? I don't really get much Star Wars. Like it's not stuff that when I do get it, which I have got a couple of pieces, like I got Carson Tiva and like 3 3/4, and I got I'm just so bad at names, the guy from Mandalorian, like, but they're not top fivers, they're just lovely little additions to chuck in the diorama.
Sure.
And I don't get vehicles, so I can't display them. Like that
Mate,
Wampa set the other day, the acrylic set I picked up from Zach Paris, like they're just sort of small things. Sorry, Dino.
Nate's pointing out that all the Star Wars is in Dean's
Yeah,
garage, which is a fair
fine.
point. Whenever I make any objections to space, Andrew always chimes in with really, really great suggestions about how I can increase my toy space. Like, Scott, why don't you just live in your car and, or sleep on the lounge and you have no need for a bedroom?
That's now slide it under your bed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think the Nautilus looks awesome. I'll of course make a video where I provide a close look at it. But yep, came in just before this stream, so I'm stoked about that. And yeah, the Remco Universal Monsters are awesome.
Yeah, it's so hard to find. Hey, so hard to find, my friend.
They are.
How are we gonna do our wish list for this year?
Well, let's go back and forth. So let's go back and forth 5 down to 1, and then we can share a couple of additional sort of grail items. And look, we didn't do this at the start of the stream, so I just want to, if anyone's watching this either now or after the fact, when Matt and I talk about like our top 5 items on our wish list, we're not talking about like the items that we want most that are like these holy grail like blow away items. We're talking about we're talking about things that we reasonably expect to try to pick up the most, if not all of them, if we have the chance this year. These are like the way I look at this is I always look at the main lines that I'm collecting and like what are the next pieces in those collections to go on the shelf if I happen to find them. So, in my top 5 this year, there's some items that it's not going to surprise me if I don't see them this year because they are relatively hard to find. But there's also some items there that I could probably jump on eBay sometime in the next 6 months or 3 months and find here in Australia. So yeah, this isn't a list of holy grails. This is a list of focused pickups that we're trying to find us, I should say.
It's not crackers. No, this is just like a Rick and Morty, and it's actually glow in the dark. So there you go.
That is cool. That is cool. And yeah, Nate, the Super 7 O-ring Universal Monsters are really cool. Really cool.
It's good that they release those new ones, like I guess because it's quite it's really hard to find these Remco ones, a little bit unobtainable sometimes. So for someone like Super 7 to do those O-ring ones again, it's really good.
Yeah.
All right.
For sure.
All right, I've got to share my.
You want me to kick off, or do you want to kick off?
Yeah, go for it. Kick off.
So, as we go through my top 5, there's a couple of things on there that there's 1 or 2 things on there that were on there last year because I haven't given up my search, but I've tried to add a lot. I've tried to add as many new items as possible, things that I've not spoken about before at length, or So it's a bit of a mixed bag. And the first one is something that I don't talk about a lot, but I do really appreciate it. And that is, and I appreciate it in large part because of Matt, and that's Kenner Superpowers.
Oh, good.
So I've been slowly building up my Kenner Superpowers collection. It's by no means a huge collection. I've probably got, I don't know, maybe 10 figures, but most of the figures that I have are complete and in nice condition. And I want to keep working in that direction. And what I'd like to do is, get closer in 2026. I'd love to get closer to finishing 1984. and I want to start with Aquaman, which is the last member of like the core sort of Justice League. The major sort of 7 or so characters from Justice League. I need Aquaman for my collection. And then you've got Brainiac, who's just an amazing looking figure. Harder one to find that's in nice condition with good vac metal. It doesn't have a broken limb. So that'll be one that I'm looking for as well. These are 2 figures that you've got, right, Matt?
I do. And the thing is with my Aquaman is he's my our childhood one, actually. But at some point I've lost his trident, of course. Yeah. I had it into my adult years. I remember it being there, but at one point I think my nephew was playing with these toys a lot, and I think it's probably been lost next generation.
It's the way it goes.
Clean, yeah. I do, yeah, but I'm not sure what my Brainiac. I think he's in decent condition, actually. I think he's pretty chromed up.
Yeah, so like I don't know. I think I can reasonably expect to find Aquaman this year. He shouldn't be too hard to find. Yeah. Especially if we get down to Melbourne and we do, we do the big toy fair down there. We get to Lobo's Collectibles or Aaron's Collectibles. I think I'll probably come across him. Brainiac's a tricky one. I've seen him at Collector-Con before. But he's usually either super expensive or worse for wear. It's hard to find, an affordable example that's in the sort of condition I'm looking for. So we'll see how we go with that. So that kicks it off for my number 5.
Kidoki. I've got mine there. You can just, and I will do, okay, let me just, press play there. La la la. I don't know why I transitioned off into some video. Awesome. Here you go, Andrew. All right. So this is got to be coming this year. Okay. So look, I guess this is mainly for a little bit for Andrew's sake as well. So these were pushed back from September. They just said in UK's winter in 2026. So I thought that'd be January, February. News popped on the 24th of December. On Zika Toys on Facebook, saying that these are now due in March this year. So I've actually added the pilots to this one. So it's like still the ship, but news also broke around November that these 4 pilots, a pack of these 4 pilots, and they're all O-ring, which is just absolutely brilliant. These are coming out, I think, around the same time. So we're going to hopefully get all these things around March this year. So I'm hoping that this will get ticked off. And for Andrew's sake, these are a couple of the pictures that they have shared on Facebook. So these are basically, this is all the pieces they're putting together. You can see there's the waists, so, and the boots, and some of the heads, unpainted heads. There's one more lot of pictures that they've shared as well on these. So you can see here, just stacked up a lot of the eagle heads, unpainted, all the jet engines, all just sitting up here in just rows, and same as the body of the eagle, the top half of the body. So things are coming along by the looks of it. They've shared a lot of pictures on December 24th, giving us all an update. Andrew, hopefully March this year. That's 5.
All of them.
Well, you're going to get all of them.
Nate's loving it. You're making a Space 1999 fan out of him.
I think, that's good. Well, him and Gary B, he's started watching it as well.
Shout out Gary B.
Oh, there was a picture I forgot to add, but the guy who is one of the owners of Zika Toys, he was holding it. Now, I don't know how big he is, but it is 3.5 feet long. It's massive. He was holding it like a 3-year-old child. It was, from up here all the way down to his knees. It was just so absolutely
bigger
huge.
than the vintage version then.
Yeah. So the vintage version was supposed to be 2.5 foot. This is it's probably, I think it's 3, not 3.5. So this was 2.5, and new one's 3.
It's going to be a bit of a display challenge, isn't it?
Let's not worry about that. Let's
worry about it for another day.
So happy to have it.
That's very cool. That's very cool. Oh, I love
Thank
it.
you.
And you know, cool of you to come on here with some news and some picks to share as well. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I told Andrew on Friday. I said I've got news, and he's like, "Tell me." I'm like, "You're not finding out to Sunday. Sit down and watch it."
I love it. I love it. That's awesome.
You would have watched it anyway. I'm just saying. I was just teasing
Yeah,
you.
no, I appreciate it.
So that's number 5.
Awesome.
Do I unshare that now, like, or just leave it? You can do that.
No, I'll share mine and it'll just take its place. Okay, so number 4 for me is some stuff that we've talked about before, but also a couple of new additions. So what I've done here is I can't. Sorry, first I've got to remove you. What I've done here is these are just the next 4 figures in you know on the sort of in the order of how I'm trying to chase the Hasbro. So so like we looked at, you know, on my 2025 wish list, we've got the last 2 that I need for Series 5. So hopefully I can track down Macho and Hogan. These are the final versions of those characters in the line. But then we've got the 2 next figures from Series 6 that I need. And these are 2 really cool figures because they're figures with accessories. You know, with the you'll know, Matt, with the Hasbro WWF wrestling line, all of the figures, or close to all of them, I think most of them in the first wave had accessories. You know, they had belts and they had, you know, weapons, and they had they had all sorts of stuff. They had snakes, yeah. They had, but as the line went on, I feel like the accessories became a little bit more few and far between. But in Series 6, we had a couple of very gimmicky mid-card wrestlers in Papa Shango and the Berserker, but cool. Very cool figures.
Yeah, they are. Papa Shango, I have to say, I did get him this year, but without the necklace, which was a bit sad, but I just thought, I love Papa Shango. And his tattoos were so good on his chest.
Papa Shango is like a bit of a punchline in wrestling, but I actually, mind you, I was 8 years old, so I was at the perfect age. 8 years old, about, you know, a year into my love affair of the World Wrestling Federation, and when Papa Shango showed up on the scene, and you know, my favorites were the Undertaker and the sort of supernatural heels, and when he came in with the voodoo priest gimmick, making the Ultimate Warrior, who was my favorite good guy at the time, have all this like black, you know, oil come out of his skin and stuff, like it was, and all the lighting effects and the smoking skull and all that. I loved it. I thought it was awesome. So
brilliant. Yeah. No, good choices.
Yeah, so I'll be, and then Berserker is basically Hacksaw Duggan. To the point where you can see he's got the gripping hand for the 2x4 there in his right hand. He's basically Hacksaw Duggan with a new head sculpt and sort of a soft goods robe, but another cool figure. So yeah, there's the Hasbros that I'll be on the hunt for.
Yeah, and to confirm, those hats don't come off. I know the Papa Shango doesn't.
No, neither of those come off. That's correct.
Can you imagine trying to find those hats as well as
accessories? It's funny you should say that. Like, as a collector, I'm kind of glad that most of the Hasbros, or more often than not, they didn't have accessories. It makes collecting that little bit easier. But when you have them all with the accessories, they just look so good on display.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, you just got to pay a little bit extra if you want those accessories.
Definitely, that's right.
Yes. PGM can possibly fit inside the eagle.
Gosh, the comments have fired up around the eagle before we move on. Yeah.
Have
big enough to fit PGM in, enough room on Andrew's flag to park the eagle. Yep, that's right.
He was trying. I think he would try.
Love Nate's comment here. We need a photo of Andrew feeding the eagle applesauce in a high chair. I'd like to see maybe a christening or a baptism for the eagle. You know, first family photo.
The newborn eagle.
That's right. I love it.
We can do it, Andrew. We can do it.
Yeah, I agree 100%, mate. I mean, look, you know, I think kids that grew up with LJNs absolutely loved them. But, you know, I got into the WWF, you know, when I was 8 years old in 1992. And at that point, the Hasbros were sort of in their second or third year. And I just thought it was the coolest thing ever, you know. The Hasbros, and I've said this before, like, they're not the most accurate figures to the wrestlers, but they capture the characters. They do, and it was such a fun, colorful, wacky, cartoony, gimmicky era in the WWF, and the Hasbro's just absolutely nailed it.
Captured the era perfectly. Those figures.
Yeah.
I have to say, LJN were great, like for
Yeah.
the time, but like for us as kids, like they were very big. Like we were into the 3 3/4. So by the time the Hasbro's come in, yeah, we were a bit older, but man, like for someone like me who loved the wrestling, they were perfect for that. Like I loved them, so that kept my love alive of wrestling a little bit because they had these big,
yeah, definitely. Dino, I think I'd say yes. Like generally speaking, when the wrestlers, when the people behind the characters, in terms of pro wrestling pass away, their memorabilia and stuff often does go up. I will say though, and I'm not going to speak on it, personally, but Hulk Hogan had sort of was a bit of a divisive character later in his, in more recent years in terms of his political affiliations and some of his controversies. So, like he's someone that there's a lot of mixed feelings about as sort of a, person, but I choose to focus on the character more than the man. But I would say probably yes, to a certain extent. That figure is going to be a little bit trickier to track down now than it probably was this time last year.
And it's funny, Mattel have re-released some of those LJNs, and in the Way 1, they re-released the Hulk Hogan one. And good luck trying to find it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, interesting that we're talking about LJNs and Hasbro's. Yeah, LJN's got their re-release this year. That's right. Under Mattel. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. So he's still a very popular character for many of the older wrestling fans.
Oh, 100%. You ready for your next one?
Oh, yeah. I think I've got it on the screen ready to go. Look, sorry, everyone. It's back. It's the Fearsome Flush. I feel I can knock this off the list this year, even at a collector con. If not, if we get to this Monster Toy Fair in August, I feel it's got to be there. I'm sorry that it's a bit of a repeat from last year, but these two I've knocked off in recent years. The Posty guy and the signed hero. I'm really terrible with names tonight. What's his name, the little fella? Rick Moranis' character.
Louis Tully.
Louis Tully, that's it. So I got these recently, both loose, obviously, but I think I'm kind of finished with real Ghostbusters. Like I think I've got everything that I want to get, and similar to you want to get the Gooper Ghost. I think I just want the Fearsome Flush because it's the haunted. It's the haunted ones that they had. Like what was it? What was the subline that was part of, Scott? This Fearsome Flush.
Which figure?
The Fearsome Flush. What was the subline that was part of?
I think he was. I can't remember. Maybe was it the
was
action?
Was he not part of a subline? He was just like
He might have been from the Action Ghosts, but which had like H2 Ghost and the Bug Eye and stuff like that. But I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but like I think I'm at the end of my real Ghostbusters. Once I find this, I think I'm satisfied with it.
That's really the last. That's really the last sort of major piece that I suppose if you find other things in your travels, you might pick them up, but that's the last one you're going to go out of your way for.
Yes, yeah, that's right. Yeah, Andrew was kind enough to give me the VW, the yellow VW, the haunted VW one recently, and so I love that because I just love V-dubs. But yeah, Fearsome Flush, it was a re-release, but I'll definitely just want the vintage one. I know I've got a few of those re-releases, but I'm going to stick with Scott there. I think I'd rather the vintage. I feel like you do need to watch it live. It makes no sound effects, which is a bit of a shame. But can you imagine just sitting on the toilet to that?
Yeah,
it's just a great little concept, great little toy. Eyeballs popping up out there, and the tongue in the bowl.
For sure,
it's definitely a fearsome.
Yeah, I mean, Fearsome Flush, I picked up Fearsome Flush pretty early in my collecting of the real Ghostbusters. I actually found Fearsome Flush at one of the old Collector Mania toy fairs out at Penrith pre-Collecticon. And just, I don't know, it's one of those figures that almost makes me nostalgic for like my early years of collecting. You know what I mean? I just found it so cool that they released a monstrous toilet. Like it's
I know, it's excellent, isn't it?
It's amazing.
And it
All
is.
right.
It's funny. It should be an easy one to find, but I've just never found it.
Yeah,
All right.
mate, I'm sure you'll come across
2026.
one. Yeah, but I'll keep my eyes peeled for you as well.
Thanks.
Alrighty, look, I got another recycled one. I'll be very, very quick here. So number 3 for me is once again. Oh, hang on, I got to take you
Yeah,
off.
take mine off. Yeah.
There. I've got the Gooper Ghost once again. Just I'll be very quick because we spoke
Oh,
about
good
it
old
before.
Yeah.
I, I'm going to be a bit more relentless this year. Like I said, I had 2 shots at
Yeah.
Squisher, and I probably could have bid up more. Knowing it was on my focus list and it's something that's high on the list, I probably should have just ponied up for a little bit more money. But then again, you never know where that game stops. The people that beat me in both cases could have continued to bid up way more. So you never know. But I'd love to get one, if not both of these this year. And I'd also really love to get a tub of the ectoplasm, even if it's an empty package. I just think the actual tub itself is just so classic. I played with Kenner Ghostbusters toys as a kid. They weren't mine; they were my cousins. And we played with ectoplasm. And I got to be honest, I can't remember if it was the real deal or if it was like off-brand slime, but we just had a blast with it. Both of the Squisher and Sludge Bucket, if I remember correctly, were released in package with a tub of ectoplasm. But still, even if I can just pick them up loose on their own, as long as they got their tongues and they're complete and they got their eye decals, sometimes you'll see them without the eye decals. Sometimes you'll see them without the tongue or the lower jaw in the case of Squisher. And if that's the case, I wouldn't pick it up. I'd hold out for a complete one.
Would you get like reprinted eyes or anything like a?
Oh, look, if I got stuck, maybe I might get I might get a version without eyes as a placeholder in my collection, but I don't know how easily I'd find like repro eye decals. I'm not too sure. Andrew, so the ones that I missed out on for Squisher, it was like sort of like the $80 or $90 range, like nothing ridiculous. I think I was trying to get it for 80 or 90, and it probably got closer to the 100 mark, and I'm just like, I'm sort of out at that point. Sludge Bucket, I think, goes for a little bit more, but again, I'm not 100%. That's just what I've been seeing it go for. So we'll move on from that because I don't want to bore people to death on something we looked at earlier.
That's very interesting. My third one, number 3 is there, and once again, sure, it's just sort of it. This was a holy grail last year. But I feel that I've got a few of these on my watch list. I just want the loose versions. I had these as kids, and I think they've come down in, like, I've been looking at these throughout 2025, and I felt the price came down to a very affordable, almost to the point of half price. So these were looking like about the 70 US mark. I can now find them for about 35, 40. So I think this is the year for these guys. They're actually on my watch list at the moment, and all I need to do is go buy it now.
Now, are you looking for these? Affordable. Are you looking for these on card, or are you looking for these loose?
I'll get them loose. I didn't get a lot of the LJN or TSR Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. I just wanted the stuff from when we were kids. So they got there's a lot of nostalgia around these two, and these two are the last two to fulfill that. We had there was some dwarves, a couple of elves, and I've got them. And I've got a few extra ones that look really cool over the years as well.
Yeah.
And our mate, Steve Darby, he sent me some pieces. I reckon you might recognize this. These are pieces of something from they're
from the Fortress of Fangs, aren't they? They're the chompers.
I don't know if that's something I need to look at this year as well, but anyway.
That would,
I'm going to focus on these guys.
I don't collect this toy line. I've thought about it. I find it an interesting line. It appeals to me, I should say. But the Fortress of Fangs, even just have as a piece on its own, is amazing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's not on my list for this year. I'm not going to go out of my way because he sent me those. I didn't really ask for them. He just went, "You can have these." And I'm like, "Oh my god, what am I going to do with these?" It means I need to get the Fortress of Fangs.
Yeah. Very cool.
But so these guys are back.
So next for me. So what are we up to? Is this number 2?
This will be 2 for you.
Yeah, this will be 2. So you guys know, watching, and Matt, you know, I've got to have something TMNT on the watch list, on the wish list. You know, TMNT is kind of where it all started for me as a kid, as a kid that played and loved playing with action figures, and as a collector. You know, my collection started when I stumbled across my shoebox of childhood figures, and I've been collecting TMNT ever since. I will say that, you know, my original collecting goal for the vintage TMNT line was to have the first 5 waves complete, all the way from 1988 up until 1992. I'm one figure shy of completing the first 4 waves, so 1991, just with an additional handful of accessories. So I'm pretty close to having those first 4 waves complete. And as I look at 1992 was just where it absolutely exploded. So I've got a couple of figures here that I will go out of my way to find. And what they are is they're 2 original creatures that got their original characters that got their first figures in 1992, and that's Dr. L, the mutant elephant, and Sandstorm, the mutant camel. So you know what we had in 1992 is we had a ton of different gimmicky variations of the turtles. You know, we had Wild West turtles and Olympic turtles and Troll turtles, and sort of where I'm at now is my collecting goal for the turtles now is series that I've started, I'll finish. So, for example, you know, the movie 3 Turtles from 1992, I've got 3, I need 1 more. The Toon Turtles, I've got 3, I need 1 more. But I'm not going to start new ones at this point. I'm not going to try and find the Troll Turtles. I'm not going to try to find the Wild West Turtles. I'm not going to try to find the Sewer Spitting Turtles, because I don't have any of them, and they're expensive, and they come with tons of accessories. So what I'd rather do is finish the turtle sets that I've already started for 1992 and really target new characters. And to Dean's point, like these are awesome. These are really fun, you know, new characters.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that.
I think Dino's got both of these guys. I'm not sure if he's got them complete or not, but look, I'll be chasing them complete. So yeah, so that's my turtles goals.
I think Lee from the 2 Barbarians was showing. Is it Dr. L? I think. He got him as, I think, part of his 2025 pickups as well. Just correct me if I'm wrong there, Lee, but I'm sure I've seen him on your table there, and I just went, that is impressive. Look at it.
Yeah, it is a really cool figure. It's a funny one. I remember picking one up when I first started collecting, and it was incomplete. It was just the figure on its own. And I thought that the tusk had broken off, but the figure actually has one of his tusks snapped. So just something to look for if you're looking for this figure. Yeah, it's not a broken figure. It's I
should have put Murdude on the list, shouldn't I?
Yeah. Hero. Yeah, I have heard that. Well, I know that Playmates they have had their licensing agreement with TMNT not renewed, or I don't know if TMNT have decided to go elsewhere with it, or Paramount have decided to go elsewhere with it. But yeah, for the first time, Playmates won't be producing TMNT figures. Playmates have pretty much continuously produced Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles figures since 1988. So to me, they just go hand in hand. Sure, you've had NECA and you've had Super 7 and you've had other, you know, Mondo, and you've had other companies do, you know, very sort of niche collector-oriented deluxe TMNT figures. But as far as the figures for kids, we're going to have, another company producing them, which is interesting. And yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right. We did get the Dr. L. Yeah, absolutely. Very cool figure. Before we go to your number 2, Matt, we'll just go back in the chat because we've got still only 35 cents joining us. G'day.
Oh, yes, only 35 cents. Yeah, yeah.
Loving the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, like I think Simple Simon shows still only 35 cents.
Yep.
Yeah, on his channel a lot. I think I've seen Brooklyn. It was like way up, though. I should have probably. There was a Brooklyn said hi as well, popped in.
Oh, okay. I apologize. G'day, Brooklyn. Sorry, look, I appreciate everybody in the chat. I'm not getting to everyone, so I do apologize.
That's all good.
Yep, we talk about us enabling one another. I think we're both enabling Dino a little bit at the moment. We appreciate that, mate. We're glad you're into some of the stuff we're showing. Yeah, look, it's funny. I
Oh
feel
yeah.
like Stranger Things
Mm.
has made me think about collecting like advanced Dungeons and Dragons because it wasn't something that ever really appealed to me before. But being such a big fan of Stranger Things, it's kind of made me think more about. Well, I don't play D&D, but I collect vintage toys, so maybe to have some AD&D stuff in the collection would be pretty cool.
Oh, you've just reminded me. Actually, there was a figure that I'd love to get from the Motu Cross Stranger Things line, and that's a Vecna. Because I
Oh
mean, you
yeah,
just can't get a Vecna figure, and this looks really good. Um, yeah, yeah. Well, I just remembered that one. That's not on my list, but I tell you, I'd love to get that one for 2026.
yeah, definitely, definitely. Okay, so Dino's got L complete, Doctor L complete, and then Sandstorm the figure only. I mean, Doctor L
Hmm.
complete's not an easy thing to find, so that's awesome to have in your collection. And
So,
Sandstorm, the magic carpet, the lamp, he comes with some really original accessories, like just like Masters of the Universe, Playmates repurposed and repainted their accessories, but it's cool when these
hmm.
lightweight figures are still coming out with all original accessories.
Wasn't Sandstorm a character in Brave Star as well?
Oh yeah,
Someone
you're
like,
right. Yep, you're
yeah,
right.
he's like, I think so. Anyway,
Not Handlebar, but no, Sandstorm. I think you're right, mate. I think you are.
yeah,
All right,
yeah,
you're number two.
Fireman. You want the Hellfire Man? Oh, yeah, here you go. So this is it. I would love to get Itchy, Itchy into my from Dick Tracy line from Playmates. Funny enough, and this is from obviously 1990 from the Dick Tracy movie. But this is the final character that I need for the figures. Oh well, apart from the blank, do we actually really need to include the blank as?
I
Because we're
don't.
never really going to find the blank, are we?
Yeah, I don't. I consider the line complete without the blank. Like, I don't think it's not complete because you don't have the blank. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah. So this is like, and funny enough, I've got his accessories. So I've got you've seen it when he came, Scott, like
Yeah,
the lead pipe, the Tommy gun, and his grenade belt there. So I've got his accessories. So I'm happy to get obviously this guy just loose and accessory free, and he can go into my collection, and would be very happy man to complete those figures. And I think I just then need a snub nose pistol for Prune Face. I think was the guy because I've got one for Sam Catchum, but I don't have a snub nose pistol with a little black handle for
Oh, okay.
Prune Face. I think
I think
anyway.
I think it might be. Is it the same pistol that Sam Catchum had? Well, that goes with Mumbles.
Mumbles. That's it,
Mumbles
Mumbles.
had
So
that same.
that's all I need. Apart from that pistol and this figure and the
Nice.
cars.
That should be. I mean, look, that should be realistic. It's funny,
Very.
these Dick
Yeah.
Tracy figures, the figures themselves
Yeah.
are so easy to find. It's the accessories.
Yes. 100%. Yeah. I'm glad you're still there, Lukey. Yeah. I knew you'd know. Thank you very much. She comes with soothing cream. He's got an accessory called Scratchy. So that's an old man's joke. Living for nostalgia. Yeah. You're right. Yeah. And
I
so
think
many
it's
people that,
I think
yeah.
the figures are really cool. And like it's a relatively easy line to collect. I think we're talking about
Yeah.
maybe 12, 13 figures in the line.
Yeah. Pretty affordable.
And they look great when they've got all their accessories. And it's
Mm-hmm.
not on my list, but I'm getting pretty close. Like, I've got all the figures with the exception of the blank. I'm just chasing
Yeah.
accessories for Lips Manless, and I think one accessory for maybe for another figure. Like, no, I'm chasing Mumbles and Sam Catchum's that different pistol. And then I'll have it all complete. But they look great on display, all of them with their accessories.
I love them. I love having them on display. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, I wasn't collecting these as a young fella, but if I was young, like, a young fella back in 1990, maybe I was. Anyway, I would have just got these, they're amazing, amazing little toy line, yeah, and very underrated. Yeah.
I like it. It's funny. So we've got number one next. Before
Yep.
we get to number one,
Yeah.
there was a question in the chat earlier that I didn't get to.
Yep.
And I really wanted to ask you because I've got an
Yep.
answer to it off the top of my head. And maybe this was the Brooklyn question that we didn't get to. But look, I apologize for whoever asked this question because it is a great question and I want to shout you out. Someone
Yep.
earlier in the chat said, what's your biggest regret not picking up in 2025?
Oh, that was one. Yes.
That's a
that
great
was
question. So if
that
anyone's here who asked that question, definitely let us know because I want to shout you out. But do you have one, Matt? Something that maybe you
Sorry.
saw at a toy show, something that you saw in your travels, or something that you had on your eBay watch list, and you didn't set your alarm, and the auction finished, and you were dirty at yourself for not grabbing it. Maybe I'll give you mine if you're still having a
Yeah.
think. So the one that comes to mind
Yeah.
for me, and I
Yeah.
think Luke Reynolds is still in the chat. He sort of he knows exactly where I'm coming from here, and that's the over the top figures. The
Oh,
Stallone
yeah.
movie Over the Top, when we were in Melbourne in February for the giant size vintage and modern toy fair, there was a seller there that had two over the top figures, the Sly, so the Lincoln Hawk, and
Yes.
John Brezink, I think the other figure was named, and
Yep.
they were sort of 350, maybe 350 a piece, or like they were quite expensive, maybe 150 and two, like they were quite expensive figures. I think
Yeah.
for the pair it was sort of going to be a $400 deal. And I put them back down and did a lap, and it's one thing that I've been talking about for years, and then I happen to see it, I have a think about it, and they're gone within minutes of me putting them down. Someone else has scooped them up. So that's my biggest collecting regret of 2025, that I didn't pick up.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think I've got one, to be honest.
No, that's right, mate. I didn't ask you to think about it in advance. So
Yeah. Well, I'll pop it in the memory bank, and maybe by the end I might come up with something.
yeah, no, I
I've
know.
got a bit
Luke,
of a regret of a purchase that I have made, but you know about that.
yeah.
That's about it.
Luke, I know, mate. You were going in on me in the comments, and
Mm.
yeah, it's well deserved. Well deserved. Yeah, I was so spewing, Dino. Alrighty, so let's go with our number one. My number
Yep.
one is something that we've spoken about on the stream before, because it was one of my top 5. And that is,
yeah.
I really, really, really want to try to find some more of the Mad
Yeah.
Balls head poppers. So, like I mentioned when we were talking about the top 5, I think I had this in the number 4 pick. I picked up the complete Mad Balls Dust Brain head popper.
Mm-hmm.
I also picked up from Aaron's Collectibles a couple of the heads. So I got where am I? I got the horn head, right?
Yep. One head.
And
Yep.
I got the Scream and Mimi head. So I just need bodies for these guys.
Okay.
And then I've just put here some of my favorites. I'd be happy with any of them, honestly. But
Yep.
Oculus, Orbis, Wolf Breath, and the Skull Dude, as well as Slobulus, they're probably my favorites. So, but I'll be happy to find any. Hopefully, I can find the bodies that go with these two. But again, I'm just going to be keeping my eye out for anything vintage Mad Balls head poppers that I can find throughout the course of 2026.
Would the bodies be an expensive item to find? Like a range? What would be a range?
Oh, look, honestly, it's probably just a case of getting them from the UK on eBay. Like, you can probably get them for about maybe $60 or $70 Australian, maybe 40, 50 quid. I don't know. Bodies on their own, but it's the clips not being busted is the tricky one. So look, this is something that in years gone by, Matt, I would probably put on my more so grail list, because I just never used to see them. But the fact that in 2025, I got myself one complete one and I got 2 heads, and we're planning another Melbourne trip in 2026, I feel like chances are, if I keep my eyes peeled, I'll probably have a chance to buy another one.
Yeah, for sure. Especially if you've only really got one complete and 2 heads. So
yeah,
it's
like
still
it's not like there's only one left. Yeah, there's 8, there's 7 more in the line. So yeah, you're right. You're exactly right.
I love finding a new line to collect, and you're at the beginning stage, and you've only got 1 out of 10, and you just go, oh my god, I've still got so much more to find.
Yeah, it's when you get down to the last one, it's so true. It becomes really tricky.
And it gets a bit sad when you do finish a line. Everyone knows that. They go,
it's bittersweet. It's bittersweet. Yeah, I'm with you. Like, it's not all about the buying. It's not all about the owning. It's about the process of tracking them down.
That's right. That's half the fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Them down. So my number 1 is that I'm going to get this year. I really want. Oh, I've got to get it this year. Yeah. Well, in actual fact, I guess it could be a bit of a regret as well that I have. Like yourself, I've had a couple of chances to purchase this, and just it's too slow to the show, and I miss out. Hey, g'day, Phil.
G'day,
Hey,
Phil. No
but
worries at all, mate.
yeah, it's all good. I will. I don't need it in box. I'm, as you know, I'm predominantly a loose collector. I've actually now got my happy to have my sectars display up there, and they're all displayed beautifully. So there's a little space for him ready to go. So I would love to get Pinsor and Battle. I've actually do have a Pinsor. He's not completed with all those accessories, so I've got a Pinsor, but I think there's a few items on there that I'm watching, and he does come with a Battle Beetle. So I think this is hopefully the year for this. Something nice and
Fingers
decent
crossed.
size. It might be the year. Yeah.
Yeah, and
But so
yeah, I
it's a
mean,
bit of a rehash from last year. I know
no, that's all
everyone.
right, mate. Your sectors collection's been coming along nicely though, so it'd be nice
Mm,
to
yep.
get one of these big guys.
Yeah. So I've already got the. I think it's a Racula. So I've got him with Skulk. Yeah. Oh, that'd be great. Thanks, Dino. So I've got one of the. I've got one of them. He's like the tarantula. I guess he's like a tarantula. Obviously, they're all puppets. You put your hand in there, but he's got the legs with Skulk. I got him a couple of years ago, back in 2024. So it'd be. I guess he's the goodie. This guy here, Pinsor, and Skulk was the baddie. So
Yeah,
yeah, lovely. And the colors in these things are beautiful. Like that's a not great picture of the colors and close-ups of Battle Beetle, but it's a beautiful purpley blue color. It's
yeah,
amazing toy line. Very, and to me, a little bit of another underrated toy line.
definitely, definitely. Oh, the
Oh,
hive.
you do have it actually. Oh wow, Phil says he's actually got this. You should get get the hive, you reckon?
Yeah, the hive is amazing. That's one for the Grail category for sure.
Yeah, I reckon the hive. If all these things going on the flag, we're going to see the flag
I know.
sink. I love it.
Alrighty. So next we move sort of into the Grail category. And again, guys, I know that sort of holy grail. It's a sort of a hot button term that gets thrown about. Again, we got to apply the context of how difficult it is here in Australia to find this stuff. Not to
Yeah.
mention, I'm trying to find this stuff for as reasonable a price as I can. Now, I've got two picks in the Grail category. One of them is a bit of a rehash, but we'll share it and I'll talk about it. And that is once again these 1980 Remco Universal Monster minifigures.
Mm-hmm.
I picked up the Phantom of the Opera incomplete. I want to step my game up in 2026. I want to get some more, ideally in nicer condition, complete, or even potentially carded. I had someone reach out on Instagram, a fellow collector that's located here in Australia that has
Yep.
at least one that he's looking to potentially part with. So there's a chance now. I think there's a reasonable chance. You combine that with the toy fairs we're going to do, the Melbourne trip. I think there's a reasonable chance that I'll be able to add to the Universal Monsters Remco collection this year. The two on the right, they're my two favorites. I love the creature from the Black Lagoon, and I always love the mummy.
Yeah, and I know you love these guys. The creature is my favorite as well. I just rewatched the three movies actually from the 50s.
Oh yeah,
I love them. I love these, and it's funny like the Mummy. Yeah, I think I've got that as well, ready to watch as well. I love these films.
yeah,
They're
nice.
amazing.
And look, in case you guys don't know, Matt, I'm sure you're aware of this. Remco did two versions of these characters. They later released a glow in the dark version of each of them. So you can see on the right there, those card back images. There's a little starburst on the top left that calls out the glow in the dark play feature. I mean, I'm not really fussed. Like I'm kind of similar to something like Food Fighters or Vintage Mad Balls, where it's just like I'll take what I can get. You know what I mean? So but if I'm hoping I've got the opportunity to pick up a few more of these in 2026. But again, I put it in the Grail category because I've been looking out for these for literally years, and I've so far found one incomplete Phantom of the Opera missing the cape. So that they really don't come up often here in Australia, especially in the kind of condition that I want to be picking them up.
Are the second wave, the glow in the darks, easier to find, more expensive? Not really sure.
I'm actually not too sure. I'm not too sure if they made more of them, less of them. I would say probably less. I would say they're probably harder to find, but again, I'm really not too sure. Yeah, Michael, that would be a great one as well. Like I remember the first time I saw this in person was our first trip to Lobo's Collectibles back in 2022. They had a carded Dracula on that black and grey classic, card back. I think they had a $500 sticker on it, and that was back in 2022. At that point, I just felt like there's no way I could justify that. Nowadays, I would still struggle to justify that, and we know how much these things have gone up. So it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one.
Yep. And that hive that Dean and you seen down at Lobo's, I remember when I was last down there, that was $3,000 they wanted for that.
Yep.
So that's there you go, Luke.
It's a massive play set too. Like the hive is huge. So like shipping would be really difficult on that. Even traveling down to Melbourne and picking it up, you'd struggle to get that back home if you were flying.
Yeah, you would. I don't know how. Because and the plastics I feel would be so fragile these days. So that'd be really tricky, that one.
Yeah, definitely.
One
All
day
right.
it will be.
You're ready to go?
Yeah. So once again, I've got my first grail. Once again, I'm gonna stick with these Inhumanoids. Grail number 2 is different. I swear to you, people, it's something new. But grail number 1 is the same as last year. I still. These guys are continually on my watch list. I continually miss out on these guys. Obviously, it's still a massively popular line to get into. Like I got the Terror Scout a couple of years ago from Tony B, and as I said, I picked up a couple of humans. So just I'm active trying to get this toy line, but in Australia, I never see these ever. I don't know if you've seen them in your Monster, whether you even notice these type of things on your Monster Toy Fair. But
I'm pretty sure. Sure, especially Magna Core. I feel like I've seen him before.
Okay.
They are really cool. I mean, how do you feel about the the bigger creatures like the Decompose and the Metlar and the Tendril?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Like I would make room somewhere in this collection room for those big fellas and these smaller little ones. So because they're vintage. Predominantly, I just love vintage, and they will rule the roost over modern any day. I'd figure it out. Maybe one day. You never know.
Yeah, maybe one day.
But once again,
I love those 3 big creatures.
Oh, that's so hard to get. Once again, I've never seen one in the wild.
Lobo's had a Metlar last time we were there in February, but not a Tendril or a Decompose. That Decompose especially is just such a cool looking thing.
Oh, yeah, very, very cool. The whole skeleton thing. I mean, we both love skeleton warriors and skeletons, so Decompose.
Absolutely,
it's right in. Yeah, you may. Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
Jake. That's dangerous because if he's got him. I'll hit him up. Thanks, Luke. You enabler, you.
And maybe Lobo's had a Red Sun as well then.
Oh, okay. Red Sun. Okay. I might. Can we contact Lobo's just via Facebook? I guess.
Oh, I'm sure you can reach out.
I think I've contacted them before. All right. Yeah. Thank you very much for that.
All righty, my last little pick, my last thing that I'll be looking for this year, and this one I don't think I'm going to see one in my travels. I don't think I'm going to see one on eBay or on eBay in Australia, I should say. Maybe this year I pony up and just spend the extra money to get some from the States. We touched on them earlier, and then we touched on them earlier, and I'm talking about the 1991 Mattel Attack of the Killer Tomatoes figures. We spoke about this guy here, Ketchuk, that I picked up from Lobo's earlier last year, I should say. And this was I saw just for context, I saw a lot of 3 Attack of the Killer Tomatoes Mattel figures at Lobo's in 2022 when you and I were there, Matt, with Andrew.
Yep.
I picked up 2 of them. I left one there, and when I was there last February, which was 3 years later, obviously, it was still sitting there, and I picked it up. And between 2022 and now, these are the only Attack of the Killer Tomatoes figures that I've ever seen in the flesh or on eBay in Australia. So they definitely didn't come to Australia. I feel pretty confident saying they weren't released at retail in Australia in the 90s because you literally never see them here. So I'll be looking out for them. I think there's about 8 in the line. They came released as 2 packs with little humans, so you can see on the left here. This one's called the Missing Link, and it came with the girl. Then you've got Bulmato, and then you've got Mamato, like the mummy on the right there, looking a little bit like Dustbrain in Mad Balls with his little dude. So, you know, I would be happy just to find the tomatoes. I don't really care as much for these PVC human characters. But again, I'll take what I can get. And that means if I find it on card and I have to pay more, I'll do that as well, because I just love them. Again, and like, I had someone ask me, "Oh, did you grow up watching like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes?" No, there's no nostalgic connection. I just think they're so silly and weird and fun, and and it's just an example. It's just kind of emblematic of how wild toy design was in the 90s, where you had these B horror movies from the 70s and 80s, you know, that were being made into children's cartoons and toy lines, like, you know, Toxic Crusaders and stuff like that. So I just think they're really, really cool and just fun and unique and weird, and I love all of those things.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty cool. Like, it is very cool. Like, it's based on the animated show, but as you said, movies from the 70s, 80s, and all of a sudden, bang, you got this animated show in the 90s, and we're making some toys, and you didn't see it as a kid.
I never saw the movie or the cartoon as a kid. I'm not sure that the cartoon made it onto air in Australia. You know what? I'm gonna have to actually see if there's any episodes on YouTube.
Andrew and I watched. We watched some, like. So we just didn't know much about it. So I think we watched an episode. So there's definitely at least one.
Yeah, there you go. Alrighty, so that's the last. Yeah, obviously there's a lot more that I'm going to be looking for this year. But you know, those are the major things that I just wanted to share and talk about. And look, you know, we'll get to you in just a quick tick. But like, I don't know about your sort of philosophy on collecting in 2026, but you know, a big thing for me this year is going to be to get my collection room in order and do a lot of, you know, get some lighting sorted, get some, you know, get the collection room a little bit better displayed, because right now I'm finding myself really selective about what I'm picking up, because again, like, the space is out of control, you know what I mean? So, but at the end of the day, you know, my desire to go out there and hunt this stuff is just as strong as it's been. I'm just trying to be a little bit less scattered in my approach. Whereas in previous years, I was picking up anything and everything. Now I'm trying to be a little bit more particular.
Yes, and a little bit the same. Obviously, I did have a big cleanup in November on the toy room, so it's beautiful. Thanks, Andrew, for that. But there's obviously a lot that doesn't get displayed, and I've got to really think a little bit hard on some of these items. And for example, like, you know, I've got it. See, like, I've even forgot the rabbit's name. You know, the rabbit, the space rabbit. Bloody hell, I forgot. Anyway, like, you kind of got to start looking at some of the older toy lines that you don't have a lot of nostalgia for, and just maybe move it on later on, and make some space for a toy line that does, you know, that you love. So something like the Inhumanoids, something's going to have to give way if I start getting a lot more Inhumanoids. So
definitely,
but you've got to be a bit more particular.
You do, and space is an enemy to all of us. I'm by no means alone in that challenge. I mean, no matter how much space we have, whether we got my little study alcove or whether we got Andrew's 3-car garage, you know, it's finite for everybody. So it's a challenge, as a number of people in the chat are sort of empathizing with. Michael's just said here, Tomy Omnibot was the last Grail piece he wanted, and he picked him up last year. I can't picture that. I'm not familiar with the Tomy Omnibot.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that, Michael, because I think I was watching one on I'd not to purchase. I just seen one on eBay recently. I went, hey, I remember those, and a gorgeous little robot. So I'm glad. Yeah, that's beautiful. I'm glad you got that.
Yeah. Look, and like, Michael, I would definitely put a new one, you know, on the sort of mental chase list. But yeah, I mean, I think it's always nice to have something, you know, that you're shooting for. But when you settle on what that is, you'll have to let us know. All righty, let's bring it home, Matt.
Okay, Andrew tells me you don't need a laundry.
Yeah,
that's all right. Okay, here you go. Grail number 2. Look at these. These are beautiful. I don't know what happened. I'm sure I had these a few years ago, and I must have sold them. I must have, because I don't know why I would have done that. But anyway, I need them. So these guys are on my Grail list. been watching a lot of these through 2025 and just I haven't pulled the pin on them. Like even I just like to get one of these. Doesn't really matter which one. Just
Do
to
you find them
display
in do they turn up in Australia, or are they, do you have to get them from overseas?
overseas. Yeah, I wouldn't say they would be never in Australia. I but I just can't recall through 2025 seeing them in Australia. But last
Yeah.
year I was seriously starting to look at these, getting one of these into the collection. So 2026 is a bit of a holy grail to get one of these guys into my collection to add to the figures. Yeah, I'm loving Dick Tracy at the moment.
Yeah, it is
It's
a
a great,
really cool
great
line.
line. We've already talked about that, but yeah, great line.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah, I was going to mention them before when we were talking about, like, when we were talking about Itchy and the figures and accessories we still need and how great they display, because, you talk
Yeah.
about those figures displaying great. You put one or both of those vehicles among them and it's just amazing.
Yeah, look, I wouldn't even need the boxes. Like the boxes, I mean, the art, you can see the artwork and how that just pops, and you'd have it at how they've got them with the car on top, and that'd be great. But I think just the car, yeah,
I
like the
think
cop
so.
car.
With the
Yeah,
figures.
okay, yeah, that's good to know. It's you've never seen them either, so
Yeah.
it must be really hard to find in Australia. So, but yeah, I'll keep my eye out for these through 2026. I think I'd love to
Nice.
enhance the collection with them.
Definitely. That's a great pick. And look, that's something I'll be looking out for as well. If I was to come across one of them, I would have to find another home for my Dick Tracy figures, because yeah, my Dick Tracy figures perfectly fill like one of my
Mm,
D12 shelves with like a carded figure and the VHS. Like it's a nice little display. If I had the car, I'd have to sort of start from scratch and find another home. But I've often admired them. They are really cool vehicles.
yeah, yeah.
Compliment
I
your
mean,
figures really well.
it's just. I mean, we've only obviously got limited time, and this is only for 5 and a couple of Grail. But there's things like Black Star, a
Yeah.
couple of the Galoob Star Trek. I could add them in there as well. But yeah, it's just we're always on the lookout for our collection, are we? And there's just
Definitely. It
yeah,
never ends, mate. It's a
keeping it,
constant process.
keeping
And
it to
it's
5.
interesting. Like, I, I, I don't, I'm going to ask you anyway. But yeah, I was
Yeah,
thinking about my collecting this year, heading into a new year. This is going to be like my 8th year as, collecting vintage toys. And,
yeah,
it feels not that long ago that I found the old childhood stuff and went to my first toy fair and started picking this stuff up.
yeah,
8 years is a decent stretch of time, and it's interesting to see how much my collecting has evolved. And I'm
yeah.
still into the where it all started. It all started with the vintage TMNT and the Hasbro wrestlers and the
That's
real
right.
Ghostbusters. That's really the trio of lines where it all started with, and I still love
Yeah,
them. But in
yeah,
that time, new lines have come, and some new lines have come and stayed, and other new lines have come for a minute, and sort of I've lost
yeah.
interest again. But it's a constant process and an evolution, and it's just interesting. Like how long have you been collecting now, Matt?
Well, I guess seriously, probably for yeah, probably since in my 20s, so probably about 30 years.
Wow.
And like I guess it gets like you don't really know what it is, like, do you? Like
Yeah.
I didn't know that I was a collector, and it's until you start meeting other people, or like Andrew, like in 2000, where you basically, oh, is that what I'm a toy collector? Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
But I'd been doing it through the 90s. I wasn't a child anymore, but I'm an adult
Yeah.
going to Toys R Us, and I'm hunting for the Hasbros, for example. So
Yeah.
you're a collector then. Um,
Yeah.
but like yourself, I've still got that passion. Like, and that's
Yeah.
why I think I love seeing these things like the Goonies figures, something from the 80s that they never made toys for, and here they are in the year 2025. Well, last year, and you just get that whole, your mind explodes. So
Yeah. Well, and look, as we start to wind it up,
yeah,
whether it's 8 years or 30 years, or people in the chat that are newer collectors or have been collecting longer, Luke's in the chat talking about 2020, 2010 is when he started. So, I mean, we're talking 25 plus years now. Phil, 6th year. So we've got people in the chat that are at all
wow,
different
yeah,
stages of the collecting journey, which is awesome. You know,
that's great.
I know my collecting is going to evolve as my sort of personal
Mm,
circumstances or work circumstances change. Your collecting goes back to the forefront, or it takes a back seat, or you go down different rabbit holes and start collecting new lines.
mm,
But I hope that we're doing this in another 10 years, and I'm still enjoying it in some way, shape, or form, because you know, we really did. We were really lucky enough to be growing up in that golden era of popular culture. And I hope that people like you and I and people in the chat are collecting for a very long time to come, because, you know, we keep these franchises, the sort of juggernauts that they are, and you know, we just keep the love for them going. So, you know, long may we continue to collect, and likewise with everybody in the chat.
And I'm just going to add, like in recent years, I've met people like Adam Kammer and Wayne.
Yeah.
Now, these two guys just have a different view of collecting. They love collecting, but they just show you things about variants or a story behind a toy line or a toy that was released. And Wayne, in recent weeks, has been helping with some variants for the original 8-back release of Master Universe. That just keeps my passion alive for Master Universe. You know, I didn't know about what he's sort of showing me these things, and I'm looking at my figures in a completely different way, picking up some original 8-backs. I'm just like, oh my God, this is just a whole new perspective on collecting Master Universe, the vintage line. You know, it's great. It's fantastic.
Oh, mate, on that note, like, I was chatting on Instagram with Dean and Dan from Insane in the Toy Brain just yesterday, and Dean shared a photo of an Extreme Dinosaurs playset. And mind you, Dean is a very educated Street Sharks collector and also knows a lot about Extreme Dinosaurs. And he showed us, he dug up something that neither of us knew ever existed. And, you know, I made a comment that, you know, as a collector, you never stop learning. There's always something new to learn. There's always something new to find out, whether it's variants, whether it's pre-production stuff. There's always something new, and it keeps it fun. So, it's interesting.
Keeps us young
Exactly. It's sort of interesting when you go into a new year and we talk about the things we're looking for and stuff to sort of reflect on another year as a collector. And like I said, I'm really grateful for all the friends we've made through not only collecting, but obviously on the content creation side, and hope it continues for a long time to come.
100%. Yes.
Awesome. Well, that's probably a good note to start to wrap it up on. Was there any final thoughts from you or anything else you wanted to mention or?
Not for me. Maybe just, did you want to show you a couple of pickups, Scott? Like to shout out?
We've been going for, we're approaching 2.5 hours. I reckon I'll say, you know, mate, you and I are always going to be on a stream where it's like, what pickups have you got to share? So I'll probably save them for a forum when I can share them in a bit more detail, because I don't want to blast through them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. That's cool. I will say that next Saturday, this is, I think, Dino, Phil, Usual Mike, myself. I think Nate's going to be there. We're going to be on with Shabby. I think that in Australia, that's going to be, I don't know if you're in on it, Scotty, but it's happening, I think, around 12 p.m. Saturday, a live stream from Shabby's channel. And we're just going to be doing a bit of a top 5 from our collection. So not just 25, the year 2025.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so it's broader. Okay, I like, if that's the case, I might jump on. I was worried I was just gonna, if I was on, rehash what I've just done now, but that's okay. No. We'll have a chat on Insta, and I'll check what I got going on Saturday, and I might jump on that. But either way, guys, anybody in the chat, jump over to Shabby Geek and keep an eye out for that stream next weekend. But Matt, thank you very much, mate. This has been a longer one, so we're closing in on 2.5 hours, mate. I really appreciate the time. I always look forward to this particular stream, and thanks so much to everybody in the chat. Hope you guys enjoy what's left of your weekends. Have a great week, and don't forget to get on over to Keep On Collecting if you've not already done so. That's in the description of this live stream, and we'll see you soon. And and as Andrew and Matt always say,
keep on collecting. Thanks, guys.